Here we are, guys, in part 5 of this story. What if Naruto was being trained by Madara and Hashirama? Please remember to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Now, let's begin. The 26 remaining teams and Enko arrive at training ground 34. Naruto looks at the forest. "Welcome you maggots to the forest of death," Enko announced with a gleeful look. "Ah, home sweet home," Naruto says as he smiles looking at the forest. Just then a kunai flicks past Naruto's cheek and blood comes from the wound, and Enko licks the blood from his cheek. "Tough guys like you usually end up dead within the first day. I lived in this forest for 3 years while training to master my powers. By the way, you might not want to press yourself against my back." "Oh, and why is the tough guy?" 2 words, angry Hyuga. Enko turns around and looks at Hinata Byakugan activated with enough killer intent to strangle the Sanbi. "Enko-san, if you don't get off my boyfriend right now, you will experience a world of pain the likes of which you have never known." Hinata drops into a Juken stance. "Oh yeah." Enko looks at Hinata. The next words that come out of Hinata's mouth freeze Enko's blood solid. 8 trigrams 128 palms. Enko immediately jumps off of Naruto and waves defensively. "I was only joking, Hinata-sama." Enko sweat drops. Note to self: never piss off Hinata and stay away from her boyfriend. "I thought so." Hinata smiles. Just then Enko turns around with another kunai in her hand and a grass ninja with a long tongue. "Here is your kunai, miss," the grass ninja says. "Oh, thank you." Enko smiles. This is bad. The chakra radiating of this guy is insane, and the dark intent behind it is monstrous, Naruto thinks looking at the ninja. "However, don't stand behind me like that. That is unless you want to die young." Enko takes both her kunai and the grass ninja pulls her tongue back in. "Well, I get itchy when I see blood. Also, my precious hair was cat, so I got a little excited. Sorry." The grass ninja walks away. "Anyway, in order for you to participate in the exams, you need to sign these warrants that free the hidden leaf from any responsibility or liability should you die in the forest." "What do you mean death?" some of the participants asks. "Just what I said. When you enter the forest, you will start out with either a heaven or an earth scroll you will need to get both scrolls to get into the tower at the center. Don't open the scrolls or else, well, let's just say it will be fun for me if you do." Enko smiles dangerously. "This exam will last 5 days. What will we do about food?" Choji yells out. "Scrounge some up. This forest is a treasure box of nature." Enko's smile widens. "But be careful, as some of them are poisonous, and also you might find that you will be hunting only to end up hunted." Enko separate every team to a gate, and then after 5 minutes a buzzer goes off and the gates open up and everyone rushes in. After a few minutes Naruto looks at his teammates. "Guys, I know this forest like the back of my hand. The best bet would be to set up camp with a few of my 100 shadow clones with my Rinnegan to keep watch." Naruto looks around and then makes the shadow clones take watch, but then Naruto walks over to a tree and walks behind it. "Naruto-kun, where are you going?" Nature calls Hinata-chan, and no peeking. "Oh, come on, you're no fun, Naruto-kun." Hinata pouts. After a few minutes Naruto returns. "Naruto, any ideas on how to get a scroll?" "Not yet. I say we just wait for someone stupid to try and attack and kick their butt." "Brilliant plan, Naruto, like I couldn't have thought of that." Sasuke rolls his eyes. Just then a huge blast of wind comes blasting towards the 3 of them. Naruto pushes Sasuke and Hinata aside. Dodge. Unfortunately, Naruto is blasted by the attack and is sent flying. Phew, group of yous. Group of yous. Just then the grass ninja walks over smiling. "Hello, Sasuke-kun," the ninja says. Sasuke draws a kunai glaring at the ninja. "Who the hell are you?" Hinata activates her Byakugan. "I am your worst nightmare." The ninja unleashes a huge killer intent at the two of them, but Sasuke and Hinata just yawn at the intent. This is killer intent. Hinata and Sasuke blast the ninja with twice the killer intent. So you're not the helpless prey that I thought you were. The ninja smiles. You were definitely his brother. Sasuke instantly sees red. I'll kill you. Sasuke charges the ninja, activating his Sharingan. The ninja dodges and strikes Sasuke back, who was sent flying back. Sasuke charged the ninja again, throwing punch and kicks, but the ninja dodges with ease. After 10 minutes, Sasuke jumps back and weaves the horse-hanged sign. Fire style, great fire annihilation. Sasuke exhales a huge fire wave at the ninja, who is forced to dodge. Where did Sasuke-kun learn the jutsu? Orochimaru thinks in confusion as he is forced to dodge Sasuke's next attack. Group of views, group of views. Yuke. Naruto shouts as he lands on the ground a good distance from his friends. Naruto just lies there for a few minutes, then he gets up to see a huge snake looking at him. Well, this is just a fantastic day, Madara says sarcastically. Naruto dodges the first strike of the snake by jumping into the air. Wood style, deep forest emergence. Trees spring up to bind the snake in place. Baka snakes can slip out anything. Kurama yells, and true to his words, the snake escapes the wooden trap. Fuck. Naruto shouts out, closing his eyes as the snake's maw opens up. When Naruto opens his eyes again, he's trapped in the digestive system of the snake. Let me out of here, you dumb snake. Naruto shouts, trying to get free enough to use the almighty push, when suddenly Naruto's right eye starts stinging as chakra flows through it, and after a few seconds of pain, Naruto's eye shifts to the Mangekyo Sharingan. Amaterishu. Suddenly the insides of the snake burst into black flames. Oh, www. The snake hisses, and in a few seconds, the snake is consumed in a black fireball. When the flames die down, the outline of a ribcage maid appears, and Naruto walks forward, both Mangekyo Sharingan emerging. You have done it, Naruto. You have unlocked my Susanoo now, and you have the opportunity. Visit me in your mindscape and I will teach you the heaven concealed. Madara says with glee that his student had come so far. Why did my right Mangekyo Sharingan unlock after my left? Naruto asks. Because your left eye has two Mangekyo in one eye, as such it is more hypersensitive to chakra, and the coils behind your right eye had to adjust to allow the proper amount of chakra to enter it. Hashirama responds. Thank you, sensei. Now if I am going to help my friends. Naruto leaps off towards his friend's chakra. Sasuke was dodging for all he was worth against the gigantic snake, but able to react properly and see the movements with clarity. If anyone not involved in the fight, they would see that Sasuke had unlocked the third Tomoe of his Sharingan. Goddamn snake and goddamn stupid snake Sanin. Sasuke soars, dodging another strike. Sasuke starts weaving hand signs and steps on Tiger. Fire style, Dragon Flame Jutsu. Sasuke exhales the stream of fire, burning the snake alive, but the strain on Sasuke to even cast that simple jutsu was too much for his reserves, and he collapses to one knee, breathing hard. Oh, poor Sasuke-kun, is this the best you can do? Orochimaru laughs and appears from the corpse of the roasted snake. You still forgot about me, Orochi-chan, Hinata says in a sweetly sick voice from right behind her. Orochimaru's eyes shrink in fear at the voice, remembering the last time he heard that tone of voice. Orochimaru was running to Training Ground 12 to meet his teammate Tsunade and Jiraiya. If I'm late, sensei will kill me. Orochimaru thinks in fear and silently cursing his alarm clock for being so damn quiet. When Orochimaru arrives at the training ground, he sees no one there, which causes him to sigh in relief that he was still the first to arrive. Oh, I wouldn't be so relieved if I were you, Orochi-chan, a sickly sweet voice calls out, and Orochimaru turns to see a livid Tsunade standing behind him. It isn't nice to keep a lady waiting. Tsunade cracks her knuckles while Orochimaru starts sweating. "Why you look LLL lovely today, Tsunade." "Oh, I'm sure." Tsunade responds coldly. Tsunade then proceeded to give Orochimaru the worst beating of his life. End. 8 trigrams 128 water palms. Hinata roared out, blasting water chakra into each point, nearly breaking bones and snapping tendons. "Thank God I made those modifications to my body after that day, or I'd be dead." Orochimaru silently praises his pasty white ass is handed to him. After Hinata finishes the final attack, Orochimaru goes flying backwards. Hinata runs over to Sasuke and picks him up. "Come on Sasuke, get up." "I am trying." Sasuke huffs out. Just then Orochimaru seemingly teleports in front of them and slams his hand into Hinata's throat and starts choking her. "You are an annoying pest, I shall kill you, then I will do what I came here to do." Hinata starts clawing at Orochimaru's hand, and Orochimaru starts laughing, when he hears something in the distance. "Mine. Mine. 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 Does anyone else hear that?" Orochimaru asks. "Mine. Mine. 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 Yay, and it's getting closer," Sasuke says. "And it sounds just like." Hinata thinks, still losing air. Then a red and black blur punches Orochimaru off of Hinata. "Mine." "Naruto." Sasuke calls out with relief, seeing his friend is okay, and more importantly he can help them against Orochimaru. "So I was just, minding my own business, got eaten by a snake, broke out, there is a snake fag choking my girlfriend. What's up?" This was the guy who attacked us, and for some reason he seems fixated on Sasuke. Hinata says. "Well then." Naruto glares at Orochimaru. "I'll show you true terror." "You managed to escape my snake, how did you do it?" Orochimaru asks. "I burned it alive, but if you want to fight with summons I would be happy to accommodate you." Naruto smiles. Orochimaru makes hand signs and wipes blood on his snake summoning tattoo. Summoning Jutsu. A gigantic snake appears in front of Orochimaru. "What will you do, Naruto?" Naruto claps his hands together and a contract sign appears in the air next to Naruto. Summoning Jutsu. Then out of the sign appears a bird. The bird itself is unusual, as not only does it demonstrate a prominent and jagged beak, but it also features 3 distinct legs as well as wings. Then with a single command the bird flies at the snake, snapping at it with its drill beak, then flies around and dive bombs the snake. However, Orochimaru's snake rises up and bites down on the bird's neck, dispelling it. Orochimaru looks smugly at Naruto, but Naruto just slams both his hands on the ground and 2 different contract signs appear. Summoning Jutsu. This time a gigantic ox and rhino appear and both charge Orochimaru, whose eyes widen in shock. It's impossible to have more than 1 contract, let alone 3. Orochimaru summons 2 more snakes to defend him and to attack. The first snake lunges at the ox and rhino, but the separate and charge the snake, impaling it on their horns. The second snake rushes at Sasuke. Naruto's eyes widen in fear when he remembers his newest ocular power. Amaterasu. Naruto thinks, and the snake bursts into black flames and it starts hissing in pain. This boy has the Mangekyo Sharingan. This is bad news for me. Now I have to avoid eye contact if he is anything like Itachi. Amaterasu. The black flames of the Mangekyo Sharingan. Does this mean Naruto unlocked his right eye? Sasuke thinks at his friend with glee in his heart, knowing that the legendary Mangekyo of Madara Uchiha is Naruto's to wield, and this means Orochimaru is in serious trouble. Naruto turns to Orochimaru, both Mangekyo Sharingan activated. Madara sensei, what are the hand signs for heaven concealed? Ram, snake and bird simultaneously. You need to use Susanoo to weave the hand signs, Naruto. Madara responds. Naruto activates Susanoo and the blue Susanoo of Madara Uchiha appears. One side of it makes the bird hand sign, the other side, and Naruto makes Rem, and instantly the sky darkens as a meteorite twice the size of Hashirama's stone face starts falling towards Orochimaru, whose eyes widen in fear. Is this divine power? Orochimaru asks himself. Naruto drops to the ground nearly depleted of chakra. Shit, I don't have enough chakra to get Sasuke, Hinatachi and myself out of here. Just then chakra floods Naruto's systems and he runs over to Sasuke and Hinata as Kurama's power flows through him. Naruto grabs his friends just as the meteorite makes contact with the force, crushing it in Orochimaru, while Naruto uses Kurama's chakra to enhance his Susanoo to protect his friends. The resulting tremor blasts Naruto and his friends away from the crash site, then Naruto collapses from chakra exhaustion. There is no way he survived that impact, and if it weren't for Naruto-kun we would be dead. Hinata looks at her friends and smiles in relief when Orochimaru's head pops out of the ground and bites Sasuke on the neck and the curse mark of heaven appears on his skin. Sasuke roars in pain as the mark appears and Hinata looks in fear. What did you do to Sasuke? Hinata roars in fury. I gave him a gift, in time he will come to me seeking power. Orochimaru says laughing as he dissolves into mud. Sarutobi is working on some paperwork when a tremor of unimaginable magnitude shakes the office, knocking over everything. Immediately Drago rushes in to see if the Hokage is alright. Lord Hokage, are you okay? Drago asks in concern. I'm fine, but what happened? Sarutobi asks. Just then a second Anbu bursts in with a frantic breathing. Lord Hokage, a gigantic falling rock has landed in the forest of death. No one is hurt, but we're just shaken up. The Anbu says, panicked. Drago, go find out what happened. Sarutobi snaps. Yes sir. Drago hurries out and starts running towards the forest of death. Damn it, what the hell happened and why do I have a feeling Naruto is involved? Hinata is in a sitting position, placing a cool cloth on Sasuke and Naruto's heads. Damn it Naruto, what was that technique and why did you use it? Hinata asks, looking at her boyfriend's face. Madara and Hashirama are looking at Naruto with concern as he lies there out cold. Even his subconscious mind has shut itself down from the sheer chakra cost of the technique and overuse of his eyes. Hashirama looks at Madara. What should we do? Madara asks. One of us will have to fill in for Naruto's subconscious and possess his body to keep him from dying. Kurama says. I will do it, I want to have some fun with the Rinnegan. Madara smirks. Alright Madara, just do it fast. Hashirama says. Madara nods, closes his eyes, and places his hand on Naruto's subconscious form and temporarily takes over. When Madara's eyes open, he is looking at Hinata kneeling over him, applying a new cold compress. Madara gets up and looks at Hinata. Naruto-kun, you're awake. Hinata says in glee. Unfortunately you were wrong, I am Madara. I have taken temporary control of your boyfriend's body and mind to allow him to recover. Madara says. What happened to Naruto-kun? Hinata looks deeply worried. His subconsciousness has shut down to protect from ocular backlash of using a technique on that scale. But don't worry, I won't try anything funny, I will be strictly professional. Naruto should be back to normal by the end of this exam. Madara says. Do you know much about medical ninjutsu, Madara-sama? I have some knowledge, so I will help with Sasuke if you need it, but from what I know you seem to be doing the right thing. Madara gets up and walks out of the small tree hollow and starts stretching and cracking his back. Madara starts sparring with himself, testing his new body's limitations. Madara-sama seems to different from the Madara I have read about. Just then Madara turns back to Hinata. Hyuga-san, how long have we been out? About 24 hours give or take. So do we still have the Heaven Scroll? Hey, I have it in my back pocket. Hinata reaches into her ninja pouch and pulls out the Heaven Scroll, showing it to Madara. Madara nods and places his hands together. Wood style, multi-word clone jutsu. 20 word clones spring out from Madara and spread out around the area. They will keep an eye out for any enemy teams. Madara then looks at Hinata. Set up some traps and keep giving Sasuke medical treatment. I will go get us some food. Madara leaps off and search for something to eat. During a patrol of the area, one Drago's nose catches an aroma of iron, which is odd since in an environment of trees. What the? Drago asks himself as his gaze lands upon 2 shinobi plus 1 kunoichi equaling 3 corpses with their faces missing. This is his jutsu. Drago's eyes narrow behind his mask. Just then an unnamed chunin walks towards him. Drago looks at the unnamed chunin. Has Enko seen this? Drago pointed at the corpses. Yes sir, she said there was big trouble that needed her attention in the forest of death. The chunin responds. Damn, I got to get after her. Drago makes a beeline for the forest. I pray I make a time. Makoru hops through the trees looking for Enko. Just then he sees her using the striking shadow snake to pull Orochimaru out of the tree. Makoru launches a Hiraishin Kyunei into a tree 1.5 meters away from him. Then he notices the position Enko and Orochimaru are in and almost instantly recognizes the twin snake sacrifice jutsu, and he launches a Hiraishin Kyunei behind Enko. Then he makes the Hiraishin jump. Ninja art twin. Enko calls out, but just then Drago grabs her hand and pulls her away. You really are an idiot, Enko. Drago draws a regular Kyunei. What the hell, I almost got him. Enko growls, you only got him because he allowed you to catch. Drago he rations, then rams a regular Kyunei into Orochimaru, then he rations back to Enko. A mud-style substitution. And I fell for it. Hook, line and sinker. Enko looks down depressed. No need to beat yourself up. Did any more come with you? Drago shakes his head. For now it's just me. I came running when I saw the bodies as well as smelt the iron and faint decomposition from them, and the fact that those poor souls were victims of his jutsu didn't hurt either. Oh, and who are you? Orochimaru asks, rising from the branch. An Anbu by the looks of you, but there is something different about you. To think that some no-name Anbu learned Minato's famous jutsu. Orochimaru snickers. Doesn't matter who I am, all you need to know is that you're a dead man. Drago responds. Dear Enko, you are a special jounin of this village. You shouldn't use the forbidden techniques I taught you like they're just toys. Enko pulls the Kyunei out of her hand and tosses it at Orochimaru, however he just catches it between his 2 fingers. I told you that it's useless. Orochimaru makes a single hand sign and Enko freezes up and clutches her neck. Why did you come? Enko says, glaring. We haven't seen each other in a long time, but you're treating me so coldly. Did you come to assassinate Hokage-sama? Drago asks. No, well not yet anyway, I don't have enough men for that. So I was planning on reserving some outstanding ones from this village. Enko clutches her neck again and collapses to her knees. I just gave someone that same cursed seal as a present a while ago. There is a boy I want. Let me guess, any boy between the age of 7 and 13, so you can unleash your pedophile tactics? Drago retorts. Why does everyone throw that accusation around? I am not a pedophile. You sure as hell act like one. Drago snorts. However, that boy is going to die before he serves you. True, there's only a 10% chance he'll survive, but he might be like Enko, and not die. You seem quite interested in this boy. Enko sneers, then Orochimaru reaches out and touches her face. Are you jealous? Are you still angry that I used you, then cast you off like trash? Unlike you, he seems to be an excellent ninja after all. He is the boy that carries the abilities of Anuchiya. His body is beautiful, and he is capable of becoming my successor. If he survives, things will become quite interesting. Whatever you do, don't cancel this exam. 3 from my village are under your care. Orochimaru starts to walk off, then Orochimaru vanishes. Thank Kami Orochimaru didn't show any suspicions towards me. Drago walks over to Enko and places a hand on her shoulder. You alright? What do you think? Enko glares. Much later Bor and Torianbu arrive. It's about damn time you got here. Sorry Drago, Hokage-sama only told us what happened after you left and we had to look for you. Tori responds. Get Hokage-sama down here and tell him we have a serious problem. Yes sir. I hope for Orochimaru's sake Sasuke lives or this could turn ugly. Just then 3 tigers gather around Enko and Drago. Damn tigers now of all times. Drago draws a kunai. I don't know any techniques that could paralyze them. Just then a foul chakra blasts into the night and the tigers flee on instinct. That's Madara's chakra. Drago looks over to her. He felt the chakra. Oh well, this means nothing. Drago lifts up Enko and carries her off towards the tower. Hinata was sleeping after tirelessly trying to heal Sasuke. Madara was watching the surrounding area when 3 chakra signatures catch his attention. Madara draws his gun by and coats himself in his Susanoo. Alright, whoever is there, come out where I can see you and I won't kill you. So you were able to sense us coming? That is some power you're releasing. Dosa says, landing with his teammates looking at Madara. You seem different from the blonde that we saw in the first exams. Your attitude seems the same, but your chakra is more sinister than even Lord Orochimaru's. Just who are you? Dosa asks. I am death, I am power, I am terror, I am Madara Uchiha. The 3 sound ninjas' eyes widen in shock at the name. Impossible, Madara is dead. Zaku says, glaring at Madara. You serve a man who attempts to maintain his eternal youth, and you doubt the possibility of immortality? Anyway, wake Sasuke up, he's our target. Dosa says. Do you wish to dance? Madara asks, and then he charges and swinging his fan at Dosa, slamming it into the metal gauntlet he wears, sending him flying backward. Zaku holds out his hands and points them at Madara. Slicing sound wave. The blast of wind blasts at Madara. Pathetic. Madara smiles, weaving hand signs. Fire style, great fire annihilation. Madara exhales the blast of fire at Zaku. How this is a fire style jutsu on a whole other scale? Kin thinks in shock. Zaku's eyes widen in fear as the blast of fire roars towards his jutsu. Nom, nom. Is hurt as the slicing sound wave is consumed by the blast of fire. Oh my god. Zaku dodges when Madara appears right in front of him. Hi. Madara says as he kicks Zaku in the chest, sending him backwards. The crashing of the forest wakes Hinata up with a start, and she looks around to see Madara fighting the 3 sound ninja. Madara-sama, behind you. Hinata cries out. Madara turns around to see Dosa swinging his gauntlet arm. Madara dodges the blow and leaps back, remembering the sound wave that accompanies it. Madara shakes his head in disappointment at the pitiful series of attacks that they sent at him. Compared to my battle to the death with Hashirama at the Valley of the End, this is mere child's play. Madara rushes, and as he attacks, trees rise from the ground, then they knocks Dosu into the air, then he jumps up and starts throwing punches and kicks, and then the wave of force blasts Dosa back and sends him rocketing toward the ground. Shit. If Dosa falls from that height he will die. Zaku thinks, and he slams his palm into the ground. Slicing sound wave. The dirt turns soft and it races towards where Dosu is going to land. When Dosa lands he hits a mound of soft dirt, then bounces off and slams into a tree. Close but no cigar. Naruto's voice calls out to Madara. "Ah, Naruto, you're awake." Madara responds. "Yeah, Kurama and Hashirama-sensei did their best trying to heal me. I hope I don't run into any more problems with Heaven Concealed." "Don't worry, I ran into the same problem the first time I used Heaven Concealed, but I was still attached to the Jado statue, so I had no problems returning to the land of the living." So I can use Heaven Concealed again? Yay, but it's a chakra drainer. I suggest you only use that as a last resort. Hashirama says. I will let you handle this, Madara-sensei. You look like you're having fun. That I am. Madara chuckles. Just then a scream from behind Madara brings his attention away from his new tango partners. Madara looked on in horror as Kin had Hinata by the hair and she was laughing. Looks like you let your guard down, Madara-san. Kin laughs again. Well, I know 2 words that will freeze your blood solid, and if it doesn't you're just plain suicidal. Madara says. Oh, and what would those be? Kin sneers. Angry Hyuga. Kin's sneer instantly dissolves into a look of horror as Hinata turns to her with a look that would freeze even molten magma ridged with fear. 8 trigrams 128 palms. Hinata calls out, blasting chakra into each chakra point, shutting it down and causing permanent chakra control problems. Just then a dark chakra starts to spiral into the sky, then Sasuke's voice calls out. Hinata, Naruto, which one of these 3 tried to hurt you? Everyone looks at Sasuke. Black markings cover half his face and his new Sharingan is active. That would be me. Zaku says, smiling. Well, then you're going to end up in the hospital for messing with my teammates. Sasuke charges Zaku with murder in his eyes. Fool. Zaku holds out his hands. Supersonic slicing wave. A huge explosion of energy goes blasting towards all 3 members of Team 7. When the blast clears, Team 7 isn't there. Looks like I blew them away. Blew who away? Sasuke's voice calls out from behind Zaku. Oh shit. Sasuke grabs Zaku's arms. You must like these arms of yours, you must be very attached to them. Sasuke stresses the word attached. Would be a shame if someone removed them. Sasuke places his foot on Zaku's back, then he starts pulling on them, smiling with a dark look on his face. And, if you want to get a visual on what the facial expression I'm talking about, just go to Google and look up Madara's rape face. That's the look I'm talking about. Oh, that doesn't bend that way, that doesn't bend that way, that doesn't bend that way, that doesn't bend that way. Just then a loud snap is heard from Zaku's arms. But now it does. Zaku collapses and Sasuke starts walking toward Dosu. Looks like your next mummy face. Sasuke walks forward with the same rape face on. Oh, this doesn't look good. Madara thinks, then he starts weaving hand signs. Board, dog, bird, monkey, ram, monkey, tiger. Then the seal for sit appears on Madara's hand. Wooden spikes appear around Sasuke, binding him up. Madara places his hand on Sasuke's back. Be sealed. The purple chakra that surrounds starts flowing onto Madara's hand. Then the curse mark starts to recede and returns to the 3 Tomo seal on his neck. You are an Uchiha, fucking act like it, Sasuke. Madara slaps the back of Sasuke's head. Naruto, why did you slap me? I am not Naruto, I am Madara Uchiha, and for the record, when Naruto returns to his right mind, the 3 of us will be sealing that mark of yours. Madara shakes his head, then he turns to Dosu and his friends. If you want to live, hand over the scroll and leave, or I will personally show you why my name is feared all across the Shinobi world. We can't beat you, here is our scroll, just leave us in peace. Dosu bows his head and drops his earth scroll. Now go before I change my mind about letting you live. Madara glares. Dosu gathers his teammates and leaps off. Madara-sama, why are you in control of Naruto's body? Sasuke asks. Heaven Concealed took a lot out of Naruto, and he is currently resting, but should be fine in a couple of hours. What is Heaven Concealed? Sasuke asks. The giant falling meteor jutsu that Naruto used on Orochimaru. Okay. Now let's go. The 3 of them leap off towards the tower. Arf, 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 arf. Akamaru barks. What's that, boy? Kiba asks. Arf, arf, arf. What's he saying, Kiba? Sakura asks. That Gaara kid that you told us about is up ahead and Akamaru is telling me that kid is strong. After a few meters, teammate lands in the bushes at the edge of a clearing and they see Gaara and his teammates facing a group of rain ninja. Give us your scroll and we'll let you go. The rain ninja smirks. You are a pathetic weakling, you can't prove my existence, so get out of my way. Gaara responds coldly. You're dead, kid. The Ranger 9 tosses umbrella into the air. Ninja art, Senbon rainstorm. A bunch of Senbon needles come raining down at Gaara. As the Senbon attack collides, the ground around Gaara covers him up in cloud of dust. Stupid kid shouldn't have been so arrogant. Is that all you can do? Gaara's voice calls out. When the dust settles, the Senbon are embedded in a hardened shell of sand that surrounds Gaara. Impossible, how did you live? The Ranger 9 asks. Gaara doesn't respond and simply raises his hand. Sand coffin. A bunch of sand rises up and ensnares, wraps the G9 in sand. Gaara grabs an umbrella with his other hand, then with his outstretched hand closes into a fist. Sand burial. The sand collapses in on itself and the pressure of the ensnared sand crushes the Ranger 9 and the blood from the boy explodes everywhere. He is a monster. Sakura thinks in fear at the sight she just saw. You killed him. The G9's teammates glare. Yes, I did, and now I will kill the both of you. Gaara repeats the hand motions he performed earlier and crushes the other two G9. Sakura squeaks in horror, but before she can do more, Kiba covers her mouth with her hand. Gaara looks in Sakura's direction and Kiba and even Shino start sweating in fear. What is it, Gaara? Tamari asks. After a few minutes of silence, Gaara responds. Nothing. Then the Sand siblings walk away. That was too close. Kiba whimpers in fear. Tell me about it. Sakura responds. If any of us get caught against that guy, surrender without hesitation. That would be the only logical option. Shino says. After a few hours of running, Sasuke, Hinata and Madara, still in possession of Naruto's body, arrive in a clearing, and instantly Madara looks around in contemplation. We've been had. Madara looks around the forest. How can you tell, Madara-san? Hinata asks. Look. Madara points to a gigantic bug with a kunai in its head. 3 times I have seen that bug. At first I thought it was a simple coincidence, but after I saw the bug a second time I realized it was a trap. But I said nothing as I wanted to see what was going on. Then I realized that this was a trap the moment we saw that bug for a 3rd time. What do we do? Sasuke asks. Simple, we fight. Madara's eyes glow with anticipation. Just a bunch of black-clothed ninja with rain headbands and mouth masks appear. So you realized it took you long enough. A voice calls from all around them. Well, now I wanted to try out a few new jutsu, but it looks like the 3 of you are too weak to tango. What did you say? A second voice calls out in anger. If you think we are weak, then you're sorely mistaken. We were chosen by Lord Hanzo himself to participate in this exam. Oh, so Hanzo of the Salamander has sent you? Then you must be strong. My apologies as for underestimating you. Madara says sarcastically. Are you mocking us? Oh no, 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 no. PFFT, yeah. Madara slices right through one of the clones with his scythe. Nice one, Naruto. Hinata says, not revealing the real man pulling the strings in Naruto's body. Then the clone spawns 2 new clones, and one of them pulls out a double-sided kunai and throws it at Sasuke, who freezes up from the pain of his curse mark. Hinata tackles Sasuke to the ground. The kunai slashes Hinata's shoulder and a bit of blood comes out. Instantly Madara sees red as Naruto's instincts kick in and Madara activates his Susanoo. Madara rushes in and starts slice and dicing with his Susanoo swords, and then in a few minutes of absolute ass-kicking, every single clone was ripped apart in a bloody fashion and a few were even set on fire with Amaterasu. Whoa, this Naruto kid is good. Oboro thinks. Alright, come out with your hands in the air or I blow up this entire area. Yeah, right. You have 5 seconds to comply. Madara starts gathering Kurama's chakra and forming the first tail of chakra. Or what? 4, 3, 2, 1. Almighty push. Just then the entire area explodes outward and the 3 shinobi are crushed. I warned them, but they didn't listen and now they're dead. Anyway, let's get to the tower and get this damn test over with. Sasuke says, then he clutches the back of his neck. You alright, Sasuke? Hinata asks concerned. Yay, it's nothing. Doesn't seem like nothing to me. Madara looks bored. Anyway, let's go. The 3 of them walk into the front door of the tower. Then Naruto's eyes spin wildly, switching from Rinnegan and Mangekyo Sharingan, and then Madara returns to his normal state inside Naruto's subconscious. That was a nice nap. Naruto says, smiling at Hinata. Are you Naruto-kun again? Hinata asks. Yeah, I returned to self just when Madara-sensei said I would. Hey, do you see that sign over the door? Sasuke asks. Yay, I think we should open the scrolls now that we have both of them. Naruto says. Alright, if you're sure. Sasuke looks apprehensive. Naruto and Hinata lay the scrolls on the ground in an X formation, and in a tower of smoke Iruka stands before them. Hello, long time no see, you 3. Iruka smiles at them. Iruka-sensei. Naruto shouts in excitement, I was told to give you 3 a message. What message is that? Hinata asks. Congratulations, you passed the Chunin exams. He smiles at them. Nice. Hinata shouts out in glee. Alright, now the 3 of you should head into the inner tower and get some rest. The 3 of them walk into the tower and Hinata kisses Naruto and they both walk off towards one of the rooms and lies down in the same bed. Sasuke walks over to another room and lies down in the one of the bed and closes his eyes. Sasuke woke up to see the room he fell asleep in, and then there was a knock at the door. Sasuke, Uchiha the Hokage and your Jounin sensei have requested your presence in regards to what happened in the Forest of Death. Alright, give me a minute. Sasuke gets up and then gets his new clothes on and then walks out to see Anbu with a dragon mask on his face. I am ready to go. Follow me. Sasuke follows Drago, and after a few minutes Drago and Sasuke enter a room with the Hokage, Kakashi, Naruto and Jiraiya standing there. Sasuke, it has come to our attention that you have Orochimaru's curse mark branded on you. Sarutobi says. Yeah, and it hurts like hell. Sasuke rubs his shoulder. Well, we got to seal it off for your own good. Naruto says as he takes out a bottle of ink and a brush. What seal will you use, Naruto? Sarutobi asks, the one that the 4th Hokage used against the 9 Tails. Everyone's eyes widen in shock, and Drago looks as his nephew. Naruto, you can't use the Reaper Death Seal, it will mean your death. Drago yells. I'm not stupid, I am using the 8 trigram seal. Naruto glares at his uncle, and then he turns to Jiraiya. You know what to do, C9. Jiraiya nods and starts weaving hand signs. Summoning Jutsu. Just then a toad appears in a plume of smoke. He is a black and orange toad with dark markings around his eyes, mouth and a circular mark just below his mouth. What do you want, Jiraiya? The toad asks Jirodera. I need the key to the 9 Tails seal. What do you mean? It's only been 12 years, and I am damn sure the kid isn't ready for the key. Kurama won't cause any problems, but I need you to become the key to a new seal I am placing on my friend, and as such I need the old key in order to give you a new one. Naruto says, stepping forward. Alright kid, just press on that square area with your hand. Naruto nods and walks forward and places his right hand on the storage square, and the key disappears into Naruto's inner mind. Madara and Hashirama are playing Shiji when a scroll falls to the ground and opens up to reveal the word key, and the key formula appears on it. Madara walks over to the scroll and picks up What the hell is this? Madara asks. I have no idea. Hashirama responds, and then the two of them walk over to their fellow resident. Hey Kurama, do you know what this is? Madara asks. Kurama's eyes narrow as he remembers the night he was sealed. Oh, I would recognize that formula anywhere. It's the key to the seal. Kurama says, are you sure? Positive, I saw that key just before I was sealed into the kid. Alright, what do we do with it? Hashirama asks. For now nothing, let Naruto explain what he plans to do with the key. Right. Alright, let's do this. Naruto gets his brush and starts drawing the sealing formula over Sasuke's curse mark when Jiraiya notices that Naruto is drawing it wrong. Naruto, stop. Jiraiya calls out when Drago steps in front of him. If it is about him drawing the seal wrong, he is making an alteration to it, as Sasuke's curse mark is odd numbered. He is making the 8 tetragram seal into a 7 tetragram seal. Drago says. Jiraiya's eyes widen in shock as he sees that Drago is right. When Naruto finishes the seal, he makes the tiger hand sign. 7 tetragram seal. When Naruto finishes the seal, Sasuke falls unconscious. Sasuke gets up and starts rubbing his head and looks around as he finds himself back in his clan compound. How the hell did I get here? Sasuke asks out loud. And more importantly, where the hell am I? I know this isn't the Uchiha compound. For one, I don't ever remember the cage doors over all the houses. Sasuke walks forward when a tap on his shoulder shocks him, and he turns around and sees Naruto standing there. Naruto, how did you get here? I forgot to give you the key for the seal, but for now I wouldn't touch it. Naruto responds. But never mind that, let's go visit your new prisoner. After a couple minutes of walking, they see a small red cage, the curse mark over the door, and a tag between the 2 gates with the kanji for seal on it. When Sasuke looks in, he sees a person chained to the floor. His skin is a pasty white, and the whites of his eyes were pitch black, and his eyes held the Sharingan, but instead of red they were yellow. His outfit was that of Orochimaru's. Sasuke, I was hoping to see you here. Would you be a good boy and open this cage for me? The representation of his curse mark asked. His voice was high-pitched. Why would I do that? Sasuke asks incredulously. For power, of course. Dark Sasuke responded like he was talking about the weather. You're a dumbass if you think I'm opening that cage. You get to stay in there until I say otherwise, and if you ask again I will bury you so deep inside my mind you will never see the light of day again. You're no fun. Dark Sasuke scoffs. If you think he is bad, if it were up to me you would be being eaten by Kurama. Naruto says. I sense you have the key to my cage, but just what do you intend to do with it? None of your business. Naruto turns to Sasuke. As you can see, the cage is locked up tighter than a miser's purse. Do you think the seal will weaken? Sasuke asks. No, and don't go tampering with it. If you leave it alone, the curse mark will not bother you. Naruto takes one more look at Dark Sasuke. Why don't you let me out, kid? You know what it's like to have something locked up inside of you? You treat Kurama just fine, but me you keep locked up, unable to move of my own free will. Why is that? Because Kurama and I have a deep understanding, but you are different. I can't predict you. I have no idea what you might try to pull, and on top of that, if I have to, I can restrain Kurama's power with either my ocular prowess or my wood style. Naruto places the key on Sasuke's back, and with a single hand sign he binds it there. There, now you have the power to alternate the power of the curse mark. Right now I have written the seal to bind all of the curse mark's power and chakra away. Keep it that way until I say otherwise. If you're good, I will teach you a new technique I have developed. Sasuke nods, and with that Naruto and Sasuke leave. Sasuke opens his eyes and looks around at everyone gathered in front of him. It worked. The curse mark is completely suppressed. Naruto says, smiling. And the key? Sarutobi asks. Sealed away from the mark and completely under Sasuke's control. Alright Sasuke, get some rest, and no matter what that mark says to you, leave it alone. Sarutobi looks at Sasuke. Yes, Sandaime-sama. Sasuke bows and walks to his room. Come on King, you know power is just a click away. Dark Sasuke says. Bite me. Sasuke responds, then lies down on his bed and falls asleep. Drago looks at Sarutobi with concern as he remembers what Orochimaru said back in the Forest of Death. Lord Third, may I moment alone? Drago says, and his thumb points at a door. Of course. Sarutobi smiles and he signals his hidden Enbu to leave the room, then he closes the door and applies a privacy seal. I had an encounter with Orochimaru while I was rescuing Inko. Care to share the details? Sarutobi asks. Yes, I shall. When I saw the corpses of the 3 slain grass ninja, I almost instantly recognized his jutsu from the research material I read in the bases I hit and rendered inert. Which prompted you to mount a rescue mission, since it would have taken too long to get back up. Drago nods in response. It was after Enko's attempt to conduct a double suicide attempt to shut Orochimaru down was when I stepped in and showed her that her captive was a substitution. I see. I pictured it would have ended badly had you not stepped in. He told me and Enko his plan, knowing full well that I couldn't give chase due to Anbu Rule 2, never leave a live comrade behind even if said comrade is borderline dead. I see you did well, given the circumstances. Yeah, I just wish I could have done more. So Enko tells me Orochimaru will be coming after me. Drago nods. Well, at least I'll go out fighting, and possibly take Orochimaru with me. Lord Third, so you're planning to use the jutsu? Drago raises his eyes under his mask. Lord Third, if you're saying what I think you're saying, then I wish to set up my resignation from the Anbu Black Ops for that event. You wish to spend more time with Naruto. Am I right? Drago nods. Very well, then I shall grant that wish, and as per your retirement gift, keep your Anbu uniform. That'll be all. Dismissed. Thank you, Lord Third. Makoru bows to Sarutobi and leaves the room. I hope that Drago has some fun. He can be so serious sometimes. Naruto and Hinata were sitting in their room having just finished a nice picnic and a steamy makeout session. Hinata's head was on Naruto's lap and he was stroking her hair when a cough at the door breaks the moment, and Naruto and Hinata scramble back from each other, blushing furiously. You know, Hinata-sama, if Hiashi-sama saw you two doing that, he would probably try and kill you, Naruto. Neji smiles at them both. Neji-ni-san. Hinata and Naruto shout out simultaneously, giving their older brother figure a hug. It's good to see you both made it. Neji laughs. It was child's play compared to divine power. Naruto smiles. And they say I'm arrogant. Neji sweat drops. Well, the difference between you and I is that you act like you have power far beyond those of mortal men, while I actually have powers far beyond those of mortal men. Oh, you're dead. Neji activates his Byakugan. You know how you scare people with the words angry Hyuga. How come you mock me? Because it's funny. Naruto smiles. Well, did you run into any trouble in the forest? Neji looks concerned. Yeah, we ran into Orochimaru of the Sannin. Hinata says. What? Neji yells out. How come you didn't tell me sooner? Because I handled it using a new technique I learned. Naruto says. And what was that? Heaven concealed. What does it do? It calls a gigantic meteorite from the out heavens and crushes my opponent, and if they block the first one, a second crushes them into oblivion. Scary. Neji says. Then he remembers a gigantic tremor that he and his group felt a couple of days ago. Wait, was the tremor caused by your jutsu? Yep. Naruto smiles. You nearly killed us? Neji gets a gigantic tick mark. Oh, this is nothing, just wait till I perfect it. Neji's eyes instantly shrink in fear. Wait, it wasn't perfected yet? Nope, when it is perfected it will drop a gigantic meteor the size of the Forest of Death. That's scary. Anyway, what did you guys run into? Not much. Ino tried to seduce me into handing over our scroll, but that worked as well as a slug trying to kill the QB. Tell me about it. Well, if you and I fight in the exams it will be a good fight. Anyway, I'm going to take a nap and recover my strength, Neji says, walking over to the room next door to Hinata and Naruto's. Now Naruto-kun, where were we? Hinata asks with a sexy smile. I think I know. Naruto responds, smiling knowingly, and he grabs Hinata and kisses her again. Ino, Shikamaru and Choji were deep in the forest and looking around for someone to steal a scroll off of when they come across a couple of people out cold with the heaven scroll lying at their feet. Lucky us, they have the scroll we need and they're out cold, Ino says as she smiles at her teammates. Yay, this exam has been nothing but a drag, Shikamaru says, rubbing the back of his neck. But now let's head to the tower and finally get this exam over with so I can get the all-you-can-eat barbecue that sensei promised me, Choji says, munching on a peach. Sensei's wallet is going to be dry by the time Choji is halfway done, Tano thinks, shaking her head. Anyway, let's go. The three of them leap off towards the tower. The Jounin senses were gathered in the room and their students. First off, congratulations on passing the second exams, Enko says into a microphone headset, and her voice reverberated around the room. There were 78 people who took the second exam, and 21 were able to pass. I did say that I would cut them down by half, but I was really hoping that less than 10 would be left. Well, your students didn't do too badly, but my students are here as well, so their luck's run out because my students made it as well, and this part relies with ability, and we've got you far outclassed, Guy says to his eternal rival. Huh, did you say something? Kakashi asks. Guy grabs his head. Alright Kakashi, you win this round. Boy, that drives me nuts when you act so cool. Guy glares at his rival. Tenten looks at her sensei. So that's Guy sensei's eternal rival. Guy sensei completely loses to him and looks, but Tenten thinks Guy sensei is the coolest one among the other teachers. He's shinning. Lee finishes his teammates' thoughts without realizing it. Sarutobi looks around at the remaining G9. So this many remained. And most of them are new. Sarutobi thinks and then looks back at his Jounin. No wonder they recommended them. We will now have an explanation of the third exam from Hokage-sama, so everyone listen well, Enko says. Sarutobi steps forward and clears his throat. The third exam will begin, but before the explanation, there's one thing I want to make clear to all of you. Everyone's eyes widen slightly at Sarutobi's words. It's about the true purpose of this exam. True purpose? Sakura thinks in confusion. Why do we do a joint exam with the Allied Nations? We told you it was to maintain good relations with the Allied Nations and heighten the levels of ninja. However, don't let those reasons deceive you. This exam, so to speak, is the epitome of a war between the Allied Nations. So that's where all the hate went. I knew it just couldn't vanish into thin air, Madara says with his arms crossed. Thank you, Captain Obvious, Hashirama retorts. You. Madara growls at Hashirama. Payback's a bitch, Madara. What do you mean? Tenten asks. If we go back through history, the Allied Nations now were neighboring countries that have fought each other over and over again. To avoid wasting military power, those countries decided to choose a place to fight. That was the beginning of the Chunin exams. Sarutobi responds. Why would we do that? We're not doing this to select Chunin, Kiba asks. Yes, this exam does examine those who are worthy of the Chunin title. But on the other hand, it's also a place where ninja fight and carry their country's dignity. country's dignity? Sakura asks. In this third exam, feudal lords and famous people from various countries who may be potential clients are invited here as guests, and feudal lords from countries with hidden villages and ninja leaders will see your battles. If there's a significant difference in power, the strong country will be flooded with jobs. If a country is seen as weak, their jobs will decrease, and at the same time, countries are able to show how their village has grown and possess excellent military power to the adjacent countries. In other words, they can put foreign pressure on them. So why do we have to fight with the risk of losing our lives? Kiba asks. A country's power is the village's power, a village's power is the ninja's power, and the ninja's true power is only born in life or death battle. This exam is also a place to show off the ninja power of one's country. Since this is an exam where you fight with your life on the line, it has a meaning. And your predecessors have fought and dreamed of being in the Chunin exam because of it. But why do you say it is to promote good relations? Tendon asks. I told you at the beginning, do not get it confused with that. The custom of shaving one's life and fight to maintain balance. That is the good relation in the world of ninja. This is a life or death battle for your dream and village's dignity. So that's it, eh? Naruto says as he nods. I don't care. Gaara says. Tell us the details of this life or death exam. Then I will now begin the explanation of the third exam, but... Just then a ninja jumped down in a kneeling position. He had short brown hair and dark markings under his eyes. Even though he was a young man, he had pronounced lines under his eyes as well as an unexplained chronic cough that plagued him. He wore the standard Konoha Shinobi outfit, complete with a forehead protector that he wore as a bandana, flak jacket and regular Shinobi sandals. He also carried a katana with a rectangular handguard strapped over his back. Excuse me, Hokage-sama. I, Heiei Gecko, the judge, will explain. Heiei says. Please do. Sarutobi responds. Everyone, it's nice to meet you, everyone, before the third exam. There's something I want you to do. Heiei starts coughing a bit. Fight in some preliminary matches to see who gets to advance the third exam's main battle. Preliminary matches? Sakura wonders in confusion. Preliminary matches? What do you mean? Shikamaru shouts out. Sensei, I don't understand what you mean by preliminary matches. Sakura says with an I'm lost look on her face. Why can't we just start the third exam with the remaining examinees? In this case, it must have been because the first and second exams were too easy. I don't know, but there are too many examinees left, according to Chunin exam regulations. We must decrease the number of participants for the third exam. Oh come on. Sakura whines. As previously mentioned by Hokage-sama, there are many guests for the third exam, so we can't have a lot of matches. We are limited on time as well, so those who aren't feeling well. Heiei starts coughing again. Excuse me. If anyone wants to quit after hearing the explanation, please let me know, otherwise the preliminary matches will begin immediately. Immediately? Kiba calls out. But we just threw the second exam. Ino whines, what a drag. Shikamaru says what? What about my meal? Choji asks. Oh, I forgot to mention this, but you will have one-on-one matches from here on out, so please withdraw if you wish. I'm not going to withdraw. Sasuke thinks, yeah, let him have it, King. Dark Sasuke says, shut up you. Sasuke roars back. Just then Kabuto raises his hand. What is it? Sarutobi asks. I'll quit. Kabuto responds. Something isn't right. His chakra levels are really high up and the damage to his inner ear had to have been repaired by now. What is with this guy? Naruto asks himself. Let's see. Heiei looks at his chart. You're Konoha's Yakushi Kabuto. You may leave, then. Got it. Kabuto responds and walks out. I've seen him a few times. Sarutobi says to his jounin. I believe he retired during the main exam last time, too. What is he thinking? Enko. Ibiki says. Right away. Enko responds. Yakushi. Kabuto. According to our data, he has failed 6 times in a row. What about his personal history? Sarutobi asks. He didn't stand out in his academy years, and his grades were normal. He passed the graduation exam on his 3rd try. After that, he did 2 C rank missions and 14 D rank ones. He doesn't have any outstanding accomplishments. I feel like there is a but. What's the but? It's about before he entered the academy. Yes. Do you remember the story of the boy that was brought back from the Kikyo Pass battle? Yes, a Jounin from the medic squad took custody of an enemy's boy that was let on the battlefield, so he's that boy? Don't act on your own. One of Kabuto's teammates whispers in his ear. Did you forget Orochimaru-sama's orders? I'll leave it to you too. Kabuto says. Especially Urawa-san. You will have no problem with your special ability. It's your chance to show what you're capable of. Since you're irritated because I got ahead of you. So you're Orochimaru-sama's favorite. Don't get cocky, kid. Okay, senpai. Kabuto walks out. May I assume there are no more people who wish to retire? Hayate asks. Then in that case, let's begin the preliminary matches. It will be a one-on-one match. In other words, it will be like real combat. Now that we have exactly 20 people, we will have 10 matches and the winners will be able to advance to the 3rd exam. There are no rules. You will fight until the other person dies, is knocked out, crippled or surrenders and so on. If you don't want to die, please give up immediately. However, if I believe and judge that the match is over, I may step in and stop you to prevent any unnecessary deaths. The thing that will hold your destiny. Hayate turns to Enko, who nods and turns to the back wall. Open it up. Slowly a wooden panel opens up to reveal a large computer screen. Will be this. This electronic bulletin board will randomly display the names of 2 fighters for each match. Without further ado, I will now display the names for the first match. The computer screen starts spinning names randomly for about 20 seconds, then the names Urawa Akadu and Sasuke Uchiha appear on the screen. Sasuke smirks at the display. Looks like I get to show off my Uchiha swagger. Sasuke says. Those whose names were displayed step up. Sasuke and Urawa walk forward. The first match of the Chunin exams will be Sasuke Uchiha versus Urawa Akadu. Are there any objections? No. Sasuke and Urawa say simultaneously. Sasuke, you better not lose or I will kick your ass. Naruto thinks. Everyone goes up to the balcony. Sasuke and Urawa look at one another and Sasuke activates his Sharingan. Then the first match between Sasuke Uchiha and Urawa Akadu will now begin. Hayate says. Instantly Sasuke charges Urawa and starts throwing punches and kicks at the boy, who is hard-pressed to dodge them. Eventually Sasuke lands a good kick and sends Urawa flying backwards, who collides with the wall and leaves a big indent. But Urawa gets back up and starts making hand signs, and blue chakra surrounds his hand and he rushes Sasuke, thrusting his palm out. Sasuke dodges the technique with ease due to his Sharingan, but a small amount of the chakra touches Sasuke's hair and he stumbles backwards. You stole my chakra. Sasuke says, eyes widening in shock. Yay, I did. So what? Urawa responds. That's right, Sasuke-kun. Urawa has the ability to steal anyone's physical and spiritual energy, and the more he makes contact, the more chakra you lose, and soon you will have to rely on the curse mark. Orochimaru thinks with glee. Urawa starts throwing more and more punches, and while Sasuke dodges most of them, some of them connect and Sasuke's chakra is drained to the point where it becomes difficult to maintain his Sharingan. Damn, the longer this match drags on, the more of my chakra is lost. I have no choice. I have to end this now, but I no longer have enough chakra to use Great Fire Annihilation, and I am sure as hell not using the curse mark. Sasuke thinks in desperation, looking around at his fellow Leaf Ninja. What to do? What to do? Then his eyes land on Lee. Of course. Sasuke's eyes light up with glee. Sorry, I am going to borrow one of your moves. Sasuke vanishes and then reappears right in front of Iruwa and kicks him in the chin, sending him flying into the air. Then Sasuke vanishes and reappears right underneath Iruwa. Okay, I admit I kind of borrowed the last move, but from here on in it's all original. Dancing Leaf Shadow? Iruwa says fearfully. Sasuke throws a kick to Iruwa's right ribcage, which he blocks. Ha, don't underestimate me. But Sasuke smirks and flips around and smashes his left fist into Iruwa's throat. Sasuke falls faster, shouting out, "Come back here." He throws another punch into Iruwa's stomach. I'm not done yet. Sasuke throws an axe kick into Iruwa's stomach. Lion's Barrage. Iruwa collapses unconscious. Heiei walks over and kneels down and says, "Well, this one's had it." Then he gets back up. I'm declaring this match over as the winner of this preliminary round. Sasuke Uchiha advances to the finals. Sasuke gets up and smiles as his teammates cheer him on. Naruto smiles at his rival as he walks over to him. Nicely done, Sasuke. How are you on chakra? Naruto asks. About halfway full, maybe less. Sasuke responds. Need some chakra? Yeah, that could help. Naruto places his hand on Sasuke's shoulder and starts channeling chakra into him. Thanks, Naruto. No problem. Naruto smiles. Just then everyone's attention turns back to the electronic screen. After a few seconds it starts spinning names again, and after a few seconds the names spit out are Shinobi and Zakubami. The next match will be between Shinobi and Zakubami. Will both contestants come down, please? Shino and Zaku start walking down the stairs toward the arena. Both of them walk in front of Heiei and he says, "We will now begin the second match." Well, this will be interesting. Zaku is at a disadvantage because Sasuke broke one of his arms. Naruto says, "Fun? Yeah, more like a one-sided fist fight." Madara snickers. "Now, Zaku, show us how you will fight." Dosa thinks, watching his teammate. Then he looks over at Orochimaru, who makes a single hand sign and disappears into a poof of smoke. Shino and Zaku look at one another in an epic stare down. "If you fight me here, you will never be able to fight again," Shino says to Zaku in a stoic tone. "Give up." "This one moves, somehow," Zaku says, moving his left arm. Then he charges Shino, left hand forming a fist. "One arm is good enough for you." Zaku throws a punch at Shino, who blocks it effortlessly. "You can't beat me with just one arm." "Stop talking back," Zaku yells, and he opens his palm. "Take this." Slicing sound wave. Shino gets blasted by the air wave and is knocked to the side. "Come on, stand up." Shino gets back up and stares at Zaku. "What the?" Just then the sound of scurrying insects is heard, and to everyone's shock, bugs start coming out of the holes in Shino's skin. Bugs? They're coming out of his body. From underneath his skin. What a creepy guy. Zaku smirks at Shino. "What kind of trick are you trying to pull?" Just then more insects are heard behind Zaku, who turns around in shock to see a gigantic swarm of them headed right towards him. These are called parasitic insects. They attack their prey in groups and consume its chakra. If I attack you with this many, you will never be able to fight again. If you don't want that, give up. That is recommended. If you use that move with your left hand, I will make the bugs attack you from behind, but if you attack the bugs with your left hand, I will attack you. Either way, you cannot get through this situation. You're supposed to keep your trump card until the end. Shortest battle ever. Naruto thinks in disappointment. What's the worst that could? Madara starts, but just as he is about to finish, Hashirama tackles him with a crazed look. "Do not finish that sentence," Hashirama shouts. "Why, what could possibly go? Don't finish that one either. I didn't know you were so superstitious, Hashirama." Kurama says. "When you live the life I have, you never say phrases like that." "I can't." Zaku thinks, remembering his past. Screw up anymore. Zaku takes both his hands out of their slings. Don't underestimate me. Zaku grimaces in pain as he opens his right hand. You're supposed to save your trump card until the end, right? What? He can use his right arm. Kiba says in shock. So half the battle was done to make it seem like he couldn't use his right arm. Very clever, Zaku, very clever. Dosa thinks, smirking. Zaku lets loose a roar as he channels chakra into his arms, and a second later chakra explodes from his elbows, rendering his arms useless. My arms! Zaku cries out in pain. Zaku looks down at his arms and sees bugs coming out of holes in his arms. What the? Shino appears right behind Zaku. When I recommended that you give up, I told the bugs to block those annoying air holes with their bodies and stay still. Shino says, and Zaku looks at him in shock. This is what a true trump card is. Zaku glares and swings his body to bring his arms around to hit Shino. Shut up! Zaku roars as he attacks, but Shino backhands him away and Zaku hits the floor and collapses in pain. Hayate walks over to Zaku and notices the holes in his arms. It seems that his match is over. Hayate says. Winner, Shinobi. In the stands, Lee looks at Neji. Who is he, Neji? Lee asks. Neji walks to the left a bit and makes the hand signs: hare, rat, dog, horse, dog, hare, rat, boar with nearly straightened fingers, and snake with the right index finger lifted straight up. Byakugan. Neji says as his dojutsu activates. Neji stares at Shino for a minute, then reels back in shock. What a guy. I would understand if he summoned those bugs with a technique, but he lets the bugs live inside of him. Rock Lee's eyes widen in shock. What did you say? He must be a part of the clan in Konoha that controls bugs. Guy says in a serious tone. I've heard of it before. Neji says. The story of the clan that lends their body as a nest to bugs upon birth and uses them to fight. They control the bugs with their minds and let the bugs battle for them. In exchange they give their own chakra as food to the bugs. Shino starts walking back towards the stairs. So he is the successor to that clan, Lee says. Two medic ninja walk out and place Zaku on a stretcher. I regret your loss, Zaku, Dosa says as he watches his teammate. Why did Zaku's arms become like that? Kin asks Dosu. That Shino guy. He must have stuffed bugs into the air holes. If he fires the slicing sound wave in such a state, the energy accumulated will seek an exit and expand. Zaku's arms were like a barrel, and they were accidentally discharged. Now they're useless. Dosa looks at his teammate and thinks. The only relationship we have is that you and I received the same mission, but I will avenge your loss. That sure made me nervous. Kurone thinks. I was sure he was going to release his nano-poison bugs. Alright, now for the third match. Hayate says, and everyone looks at the board to see who is next. The names start spinning again, and after a few seconds the names Kankuro and Misumi Tsurugi appear. The third match shall be Kankuro vs Misumi Tsurugi. Kankuro jumps down and Misumi walks down the stairs. Let me do you a favor and end this quickly, Kankuro says, placing Crow on the ground still wrapped up in the cloth. You can't end it if I end it first. So original, Madara says sarcastically as he rolls his eyes. This will be a short fight, Hashirama says. A puppet master versus an unknown. I wonder what will happen, Naruto says, genuinely interested. 2,000 yen on the puppet master, Kurama says. 10,000 yen on the unknown, Madara says. 15,000 on the puppet master. Hashirama smirks. Don't look at me, Naruto says. Come on kid, it will be fun. Kurama says, somehow I doubt that, but fine, 3,000 on Kankuro. In that case the third match of the Chunin exams will now begin, Hayate says. Misumi charges Kankuro and throws a chop at his neck, but Kankuro blocks it. Nice try. Kankuro smirks. Don't think I'm done yet. Misumi responds and his arm coils around Kankuro's left arm, then snakes around his back and underneath his right armpit and around his neck. Okay, that's new. Madara says. I can take my joints off their hinges and uses my chakra to control my loosened body. With his chakra. Sakura says, looking shocked. That's why I can strangle you until your bones break. Unless you give up, I will continue to strangle you. I don't know what kind of tool you use, but there is no point to it if I immobilize your body like this. Here's a neat fact: I can break your neck, as well. Hurry up and give up. Bite me. Kankuro growls out. Do you want to die? Idiot, you're the one who is going to die. Misumi snaps Kankuro's neck. I win. Madara says. Looks like I get to walk away with a solid 20,000 yami. It's not over just yet, Madara-sensei. I can still feel Kankuro's chakra. Naruto says. His neck is broken. Lee says. What? Hinata asks, looking shocked that anyone could do that. Dumbass. Gaara says, bored. Damn it, you idiot, I got carried away and broke it. Misumi says. Just then the sound of splintering wood is heard and chunks of Kankuro's skin land on the floor. A wood clone. Hashirama says in shock. No, it's not a wood clone. Madara says just as. Kankuro's head does a 180 and reveals that Kankuro was merely a puppet all along. What? Misumi says, shocked. Now it's my turn. Kankuro says in a mixed voice. And instantly wooden arms appear from Kankuro's clothes and wrap around Misumi, and bearing his arms in a tight hold that wraps around Misumi's spine. A puppet. Misumi's eyes widen in shock. Then a hand pops out of the wrapped-up bundle, which unfurls to reveal the real Kankuro. That was the real one? Chakra is pouring from Kankuro's hand with strings coming from each of his fingers. He is a puppeteer. Kankuro's hand clenches into a fist and the arms from the puppet tighten. I give. Misumi starts to say when the arms tighten even farther and he screams out in pain. You can become softer if I break your bones. Kankuro says. That was close, I was about to stop the match. Heiei thinks to himself. Crow drops down on Misumi. Is the puppet trying to rape him? Madara asks, confused. Dude. What the hell? We don't need that image in our heads, thank you very much. Hashirama yells. Since his opponent is unable to fight, the winner is Kankuro. Heiei says. That's kind of unfair, it's 2 against 1. Kiba says. You're one to talk. Shino says. Did you just tell a joke? Kiba shouts, and yes, that was based off of a conversation between the stoic Byakuya Kachiki and Renji Abare. It's not unfair. It's just a doll after all. Kurone says it's a marionette technique. He controlled the doll with his chakra. It's merely a tool like a shuriken. Sakura says to Kiba like she was taking about the weather. The medic ninja take Misumi away on a stretcher. Everyone is remarkable at using their chakra. I thought I was pretty good at using my chakra, but compared to these guys I'm an amateur. Sakura walks away towards the bathroom. If she spent as much time training as she did reading books and being concerned with her looks, she could have a lot of potential. Hashirama says. Please, a newborn has more chakra than that girl. Madara says. Just because she doesn't have a lot of chakra doesn't mean she can't become a medic ninja. Hashirama retorts. Because as we all know, that's a suiting carrier. Madara responds sarcastically. And what's wrong with trying to heal people? Hashirama glares. Nothing. Well, that is if you want to spend the rest of your life hanging around dying people. Madara says, egging his rival on. There is nothing wrong with that. Hashirama yells. Great, I'm turning into Tobirama. Hashirama thinks remember his younger brother's hot-headedness. Sakura was washing her face and hair to get the dirt out when she sees someone in the mirror. You know. Sakura sneers. You sure are jumpy, Sakura. I know why. I mean, even Sasuke-kun nearly collapsed, and it's probably just because he's so great that's all that happened. Frankly, I don't know what will happen to you if you compete. I think you should give up. I won't quit, not ever. Sakura glares at her rival. Sakura walks towards the exit of the bathroom and stops right next to Ino. In fact, I can't want to show off my skills to Sasuke-kun. Sakura walks out smirking. Cha! Bring it on. Inner Sakura roars. Alright, now for the fourth match of the Chunin exams. Hey, coughs. The electronic board starts spinning names again. Well, whoever it is, it's going to be one of two things, epic or horribly disappointing. Naruto says. For your sake, I hope it's the former. Hashirama says. Who can stand up to divine power? Madara asks. Again with the divine power crap, you're not a god-given form. Hashirama growls. I'm not talking about myself. Oh, and who were you talking about? Naruto asks you, Naruto. What's this? The great Madara Uchiha being humble. Kurama snickers. Bite me, Kurama. Madara yells. Just then the board displays the names Sakura, Haruno and Ino Yamanaka. Madara sighs. Well, this is going to be one of those horribly disappointing matches. Two fangirls bickering over my descendant. Oh come on, Madara, it's not going to be that bad. Hashirama says, and then covers his mouth. Well, talk about irony. I tell you not to tempt fate, and I just did. Neji gets a cold shiver down his spine. Why do I have the feeling that someone just tempted fate? Neji thinks to himself. There is only one person I know who would have the balls to do that. Neji looks over at Naruto, who is silently snickering at something that Neji was obviously missing. Must be one of his tenants if Naruto's reacting like that. The fourth match will be between Sakura, Haruno and Ino Yamanaka. Hey says, and both girls make their way down to the arena. Sakura and Ino look at one another, determination burning in their eyes. Well, it was disappointing. Hashirama says. For once I have no snide remarks about that comment. Madara says, shaking his head. 20,000 yen says either of them would freeze up on their first encounter with an enemy ninja. Kurama says. No comment. Naruto says. That was just plain pathetic. That's the best kunoichi can get in hand-to-hand combat. Kankuro says. Just then a huge amount of killer intent was slammed onto Kankuro. Care to repeat that, Kankuro-chan? Temari says in a sickly sweet voice. I didn't say anything. Kankuro shakes his hands in the typical I surrender motion. That's what I thought. It's time for the fifth match. Hey says. The electronic board starts spinning with names again, then lands on Tenten and Temari, and they both walk downstairs and stand in front each other. I am so ready. After watching that last match, I have to redeem the kunoichi name. Tenten thinks. I will show the true power of kunoichi. Temari thinks, looking at Tenten. Tenten fell towards Temari's fan and landed on it, slammed on the end of it. Naruto looks over at Neji to seize his Byakugan, a flare in rage. Well, go get her, Nisan. Naruto says, and Neji jumps down just as Temari throws Tenten off the fan and Neji caught her. Neji glares at Temari. You better pray you and I never meet on the battlefield, or you will learn why the Hyuga are feared. Neji growls out. Oh come on, if she was last year's kunoichi of the year, then Konoha has fallen greatly. Temari scoffs. Just then Naruto appears right behind Temari. Tenten fought well, no need to insult her, because if either Neji or I fight you in the finals, you will know fear. Naruto says. Then all of them walk back up to the stands and everyone looks at the electronic board as it flashes out more names, then stops on Shikamaru, Nara and Kintsuchi. Guess I'm up, what a drag. Shikamaru says, walking down. Go get her, Shikamaru, you can do it, make that little girl cry. Ino says, cheering on her teammate. This is a drag, I mean I got to fight a girl. Shikamaru complains. Yeah, you just keep thinking that, little man. Kin responds. I don't know what they are capable of, all I do know is that the Dosagai manipulates sound waves, but I didn't get a look at her jutsu. The only plus is that she didn't see mine either, so I don't have to worry about that. Shikamaru thinks. Try as many times as you like, but you can't beat me, but not because of who you were born as, but because I have trained with Naruto, who is a goddamn stamina freak, and he will pound you into oblivion if you falter in your attacks. Now I know to be careful to dodge all the Senbon, not just the ones with bells. Just then a jingling of bells comes from Shikamaru. What the? Shikamaru looks behind him and sees the small threads attached. Threads? Then he remembers Kin with the Senbon in her hand. Oh hell. Too late. Kin throws the Senbon and they strike Shikamaru. Well, that was quick. Kiba says. Hold on, don't count him out just yet. Sakura says. Shikamaru groans and gets back up with the needles in his arm. A few inches higher, and that could have been a fatal hit. Shikamaru says. Okay, now it's my turn. Sorry, but that was your turn. The bells behind Shikamaru ring again. What's going on? Shikamaru collapses to his knees. Those who listen to the sound of bells become like that. This vibration from the sound of this special bell works directly on the eardrum up to the brain. Then, it will show you an illusion. Shikamaru clutches his head to block out the sound. That's useless. You can't shut out my bell's sound with that. All of a sudden about 20 Kins appear next to her. Damn it, which one's the real one? Shikamaru asks, desperate. You can't move at all, huh? You don't even know where to stretch your only hope, your shadow. Kin pulls out 3 Senbon. Now, I'll tenderize you slowly. Damn it, she's underestimating me. Kin throws the needles which Shikamaru blocks to avoid a fatal hit. Now, I'll throw 5. Next, 7, I'll continue until you look like a hedgehog. You deceitful wench. You said you would end the match quickly, so get it over with and quit wasting my time. I see, you're in so much pain that you want to be relieved of it quickly. Then I will finish you off with this. Kin raises her hand holding 5 Senbon. It's the end. When suddenly Kin freezes up. What? She looks shocked as her hand moves on its own. My body. My shadow possession finally succeeded. What are you talking about? Your shadow is nowhere near me. You still haven't noticed? Did you? Kin reels back shocked. Just as you assumed, stupid. The shadow beneath Kin's string begins to waver. There's no way a string like that. Height will make a shadow. I can stretch and shrink my shadow. Damn, the shadow is getting fatter and I didn't notice. Yes, I thinned and stretched out my shadow to make it look the shadow of the string, then I attached it to you. Shikamaru raises his hand and Kin imitates. But how are you going to win now? All I'm going to do is move the same way you move. Shut up and just watch. Shikamaru reaches for a shuriken pouch at his right leg and Kin does the same. Are you stupid? If you attack like that, you're going to get hurt, too. I know. Shikamaru prepares to throw the shuriken and Kin does the same. Are you planning to? We're going to stab each other with our shuriken now. How long we last? Shikamaru throws the shuriken and Kin does the same. Stop this nonsense. Both shuriken fly towards their opponent, and as Kin's shuriken approaches Shikamaru, he ducks. I knew it, he was just bluffing. Kin smiles and then her head slams into the wall behind her. Ha! Ha! One down. Shikamaru calls from his bridge body position, then he flips back up onto his feet. Shinobi need to grasp the landscape and situation, then fight. Even if we move the same, our distances to the walls are different. I just used the shuriken to get your attention away from the wall. Winner, Shikamaru Inara. Heiei says. Way to go, Shikamaru. Ino calls out happily, you're cool. Choji calls out. Me next, me next, me next. Lee says with determination in his eyes. Now this boy knows how to use his environment to his advantage. I say the hidden leaf needs chunin like him. Hashirama says. Again no snide remarks. Madara says. So I'm the only one left. Dosu says to himself. Then the computer starts spinning out names and Naruto watches with intent. Somehow I know I'm going to be next. Naruto thinks, looking around at everyone left. Now all that remains is to determine who my opponent is. It could be Neji-ni-san, Hinata-chan, Kiba, Dosu, Choji and Gura. This ought to be fun. Please don't pair me up with a sand guy. Please don't pair me up with a sand guy. Please don't pair me up with a sand guy. Please don't pair me up with a sand guy. Kiba thinks, pleading with whatever forces where the board stops spinning and lands on Naruto and Kiba. Oh, that isn't much better. Kiba, huh? Truth be told, I'm kind of glad to be against Kiba, as Neji and Hinata know my powers quite well and could find a way around them. Choji could probably match me in pure destructive power, and Gaara and I would destroy this place at its very foundations. Kami-sama, if you can hear me, if I live through this, I swear I will never read one of Jiryu's books that my dad left me again. Kiba offers up a prayer to keep from dying. Next match, Naruto Uzumaki vs Kiba Inuzuka. Heiei says. Naruto jumps down, making a small crack in the ground where he landed. Ready, Kiba, or do you just want to give up right now? Naruto asks. And Inuzuka never backs down. Kiba shouts out. Right, Akamaru? Arf. Akamaru responds, cheering his partner. Kiba jumps down and looks at Naruto. Anything you want to ask me before we begin? Naruto asks. Yay, just how powerful are those eyes of yours? Kiba asks. Powerful enough to level the entire village if I wanted to. Everyone's eyes widen in shock at the prospect. I knew the Rinnegan was strong, but I think that's an exaggeration. Sarutobi thinks, sweat dropping at his surrogate grandson's actions. Now that introductions are out of the way, Naruto grabs his gunbai and scythe and looks at Kiba with fierce determination. Shall we dance? Hey, that's my line. Madara yells at his student. What, I like it. It's cool and threatening at the same time. We will talk about this later. Madara grumbles. Naruto, I won't give up, I am going to fight and get my ass kicked like a man. Kiba glares. Want to try that again? Naruto asks, sweat dropping. Just shut up and fight. Kiba charges Naruto and throws a series of punches and kicks at Naruto, who blocks them and counters with his own punches, and eventually Naruto kicks Kiba in the chest and he slams into the wall and he gets back up with a cracked rib. Had enough, Kiba? Naruto asks, smirking. Not on your life. Kiba snarls. I was hoping to save this Kekkei Genkai technique for later, but I seems like I have no choice. Kiba glares at Naruto. Behold my Kekkei Genkai, Naruto. Kiba's skin turns a dark black as he activates his iron skin. Okay, that's new. Naruto raises an eyebrow. Kiba motions to Akamaru, who runs over and grabs Kiba's leg with his teeth, and Akamaru's fur turns gray, and then Kiba tosses him a food pail. Ninja art, beast mimicry, all fours jutsu. Let's do this, Akamaru. Kiba says. Arf. Akamaru barks. Ninja art, man-beast clone. Akamaru transforms into Kiba, and then they charge Naruto, whose eyes flicker back and forth between the two. They're impossible to tell apart, both look equally feral. Naruto swings his gunbai. Gunbai wind wall. The blast of wind sends both Kiba and Akamaru reeling back. Not bad, Naruto, but it's far from over. Kiba charges again and he and his clone start spinning. Iron Fang over Fang. Kiba and Akamaru blast in at high speeds. Well, crap. I was hoping to not have to use one of my paths, but I guess I don't have a choice. Naruto holds his hands out to the side. You think you can stop us? Kiba says as he gets closer. Almighty push. The ripple of gravity blasts Kiba and Akamaru back and the transformation on Akamaru disappeared. The hell was that? Kiba asks. The power of the Rinnegan now to finish this. Naruto makes a cross-hand seal. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Instantly 5 Narutos appear next to him and they all have the Rinnegan. Scatter. Then one of the Narutos charges in and slams his fist into Kiba's stomach, then a second Naruto clone knees him in the back. Then a third kicks him to the ground and the fourth clone slashes Kiba across the back with a lightning-enhanced kunai. Then the fifth clone grabs Kiba and twirls around, throwing him into the air, and 4 of the clones and the original slam down into Kiba with chakra receivers and stabbing Kiba in several non-vital places. Rinnegan art, assault of the 6 paths. Naruto calls out. Kiba coughs up a small amount of blood. Sorry Kiba, I hope you can forgive me. Naruto gets up and dispels the clones. Winner by knockout, Naruto Uzumaki. Hey says. Kurone turns to Kakashi. What did you teach your students? Kurone asks. Are you kidding me? That was all, Naruto. Didn't you hear what he said? Rinnegan art, 6 paths, so there is no way I could have taught him that. Kakashi says, waving his hands. Naruto walks back up to the stands and contemplates his training for the finals. The next match of the Chunin exams will now begin. Hey says, then the electronic board starts spinning out names and eventually spits out Hinata Hyuga and Neji Hyuga. Never thought would have to fight you, Ni-san. Hinata says. Likewise Hinata-sama, I hope you have improved from our last spar or this will be over quickly. Neji responds. I swear to Kami if he spouts any fake crap I will kill him. Because it is my destiny to fight Naruto to finally prove which dojutsu is stronger, the Rinnegan or the Byakugan. Neji. Hinata's look grows cold. Yes, Hinata-sama? Neji looks confused. What did I tell you about sprouting crap about fate and destiny? Not to do it. Neji replies. And what did you just do? I said. It was my destiny to fight Naruto. Neji starts sweating bullets. Hinata smiles and taps her nose. I should start running now, shouldn't I? Neji activates his Byakugan. Yep. Hinata activates her Byakugan and charges in full speed at her cousin. Run bitch run. Naruto calls out. Hinata charges Neji with a Juken strike and he is forced dodge. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Neji screams at his sister. Get back here and take your beating like a man. Hinata throws another strike. Neji dodges and counters, and for a few minutes they keep dodging and striking, unleashing chakra as they fight. Give up, Hinata, I've blocked half your chakra points. I don't get it, she is dodging all the strikes. How are her chakra points closed off and what are chakra points? Sakura asks. There are points along the chakra network that affect the flow of chakra. When open, the flow of chakra is unaffected, but Juken has the ability to seal the 361 points on the body that control chakra flow. Naruto responds. They are invisible even to my Rinnegan. However, the Byakugan is the only dojutsu that has the ability to see, close and reopen chakra points, and if all the points are blocked, then only another Hyuga could unblock them, or those who have a Bija sealed inside of them, but only if the Bija either has a very strong self-preservation instinct or likes the host, then they won't actually give a damn. I thought the Rinnegan was all-powerful. Guess Sasuke is more powerful. I wouldn't be so sure about that. Kakashi says. The chakra points are just as invisible to the Sharingan, Sakura. Impossible, Sasuke-kun is the greatest. Madara Uchiha couldn't kick my ass. What makes you think Sasuke could? Yes, I could. Madara yells. You're just jealous because you don't have the Rinnegan. Hashirama sticks his tongue out. Hashirama, I swear to God I'm going to kill you. Madara roars. You want to go, Madara? Hashirama roars back. Come at me, bro. Madara roars back, you two are morons. Kurama shakes his head. Stay out of this. Madara and Hashirama roar together. If you two want to fight, please do so quietly. Naruto rubs his head. Hashirama and Madara look at one another and smile viciously. Want to reenact me kicking your ass at the Valley of the End? Hashirama asks. Yay right, I was going to kick your ass. Mortal Kombat. Kurama says. Oh, I wouldn't be so smug, Kurama, you're helping. Madara says. Oh, not again. Kurama cries, anime tears. You're not bad, Hinata-sama, but this fight is mine. Neji says. Oh, I have a few tricks up my sleeve. Hinata says, smiling as she wipes blood on the small ceiling tattoo on her shoulder, pulling out a small section of black rod. Hinata-sama, what is that? It's a surprise. Hinata stabs the rod into her shoulder. Naruto starts channeling chakra into Hinata's rod and her points start reopening. How did you do that? Neji looks shocked. Secret. Now to finish Neji. Hinata drops into a deep Juken stance. 8 trigrams 64 water palms. Hinata dashes forward. Neji's eyes widen in fear. 8 trigrams rotation. Neji starts spinning around, blocking Hinata's attacks. Naruto looks in awe at his older brother's power. Hinata-sama, you and I are both low on chakra, so should we finish this Dragon Ball style? Fine. Hinata channels chakra into her hands, which forms a lion. Gentle step, lion step. Gentle step, dragon palm. Neji and Hinata dash forward, throwing their attacks at one another, which collide, sending both backwards in an explosion of chakra. Neji drops to the ground on one knee panting, and Hinata drops to the floor out cold. The winner of 7th match is Neji Hyuga. Sorry, Hinata-sama, but I won't lose, because I fit for a special person. Neji looks at Tenten. Neji-kun's looking at me. Don't blush, don't blush. Tenten thinks. Naruto jumps down and grabs Hinata and picks her up bridal style and jumps into the stands. Naruto channels chakra into Hinata. Naruto-kun, did I do well? Hinata asks. You did fantastic, Hinata-chan. Naruto smiles and kisses Hinata on the lips. Naruto. Could you not make out with Hinata in my presence? Neji asks. When did you need chakra to Nisan? I got plenty to go around. I would appreciate that. Ototo. Neji smiles. Naruto takes a black rod from his pouch and hands it to Neji. Just stab that into your shoulder and I can channel chakra to you if you need it. Neji stabs the rod into his shoulder with what little strength he has left, and instantly chakra floods his system and the image of the Rinnegan floods his mind. Thanks, Ototo. Neji smiles again. Tano watches the whole exchange between Neji and Hinata. Then she looks at Sakura, something on her mind. Hey Sakura, does Sasuke actually ever pay attention to us? Tano asks. No, not really, but that's why you and pretty much every girl try to get him to notice us? Sakura responds. Considering Naruto, he actually pays attention to Hinata and he cares about her, plus he looks hot with that hair and the armor, plus I think he would give his life to protect those he cares for. Tano thinks. Wonder if Hinata would mind sharing him. I will ask her later. Just then Hayate coughs, gaining everyone's attention. The next match of the Chunin exams will now begin. The electronic board starts spinning and pops out two names, Rock Lee and Gaara of the Desert. Yosh! Lee shouts out. I am not last now, I will show of my springtime of youth. Lee, I want you to hear these wise words of wisdom from your mentor. Guy says, leaning in. No one has noticed it yet, but there is something weird about that gourd that he carries. He has just noticed this. I mean, everyone saw this, and anyone who can sense chakra can detect something is amiss with his chakra. Madara face palms. Hey, at least he is trying. Hashirama says half-heartedly. Lee jumps down and Gaara shunshins down and faces Lee. Kankuro walks over to Naruto from the other side of the arena. How come you're all by yourself and not with your buds? Kankuro asks. Says the puppet user, who left his buds to be over here. Naruto responds. Kankuro deadpans for a split second. Well, he got me there. Kankuro thinks. I'm curious about that Neji, something about his match suggests he was holding back. Look, if you want info on Leaf Shinobi you gotta offer something up in trade, because otherwise I'm not telling you squat. Find an exchange for Gaara, you tell me about Neji. Sounds fair enough. So about that Neji character. If you were his opponent, puppet or no puppet, you're screwed regardless of the type of puppet you have. Naruto smirks for a half a second, because he remembered Madara had said that he at one point seen Earth-style chakra and Neji during the second exam. But if you could dance with him long distance you should be fine. Kankuro gulps in response at the thought of dancing with Neji. Alright, I'll tell you about Gaara. Just then Naruto and Kankuro hear as Hayate clear his throat. Drago is watching from the wall outside the arena, peeking in. A Taijutsu user versus a metal release sand-style user with a spotless record in the manner of injuries. This ought to make for an interesting match. Drago smirks. Impatient are we? Lee says, and he opens his fist to reveal Gaara's cork for his sand gourd, which had launched from his gourd a couple of seconds ago. Then he lets it drop to the floor. Gaara doesn't respond and he just stares at Lee. Alright, when you're ready. Begin. Hayate says. Lee charges and takes a crack at him, calling out. Leaf Hurricane. Gaara does nothing as the sand moves to block the first kick and repels him onto his butt. Lee sees the sand coming at him. He rolls back, springs up on his hands, and backflips once and skids back to where he started on the floor. Gaara does nothing as the sand returns to the gourd. Even as fast as Lee is, he can't get anywhere near him. Sasuke says in shock. The sand? He's using it as a shield? Naruto looks at Kankuro. He isn't doing it, the sand is doing it of its own accord. That's why Gaara's never been injured. No one's been able to get at him, no one's even been able to touch him. Well, that's interesting. Naruto. So a sand manipulating jutsu, huh? That won't be easy getting around, but nothing ventured anything gained. Lee charges again, takes another try with 4 kicks and 4 punches, but Gaara's sand blocks all of them. Then sand comes at him again. This time he draws a kunai from his holster and parries THFE sand via cutting into it. Then notices the sand regrouping. He backs away, jumps up, launches a couple shuriken, which is blocked. Gaara still isn't moving as the sand gathers to form a circle around him. Blast it, he didn't even budge, and how in Kami's name is he doing that? He isn't even moving a muscle. I hope that isn't all to your little show. After all, it's not a show if there isn't enough blood. Lee sees the sand coming towards him. He jumps to dodge, but he misjudges the sand and it catches his ankle. Gaara does nothing as the sand slams Lee against a wall, and as the sand charges him, Lee recovers and dodges the sand and tries again to nail Gaara. I don't get it. Sakura says. He is only using taijutsu, why doesn't he get some distance and use ninjutsu? Yes, that would be a good idea, that is if he had any. Guy says. Lee has no ninjutsu or genjutsu skills at all. You're kidding. Oh, that's nothing, you should have seen him when we first met, no talent whatsoever. Really? I can't believe it. Lee starts doing backflips to avoid the sand's assault, but falls on his side because the sand shoots beneath his feet, and Gaara does nothing again as his sand moves in for the kill. Sakura and Ino as well as several other flinch as they think Gaara killed Lee. It's over. Shikamaru flinches, but then everyone notices that Lee dodged that by one cannonball flip onto the big statue hand sign for the ram. Gaara and Lee glare at one another. A ninja who can neither do ninjutsu or genjutsu is certainly a rarity, Guy says. Lee has only his taijutsu to rely on. Some might consider that a disadvantage, but that's what makes him a winner. Alright, Lee dropped them. But, Sensei, you stated that was only as a last resort if the lives of precious people are at stake. Lee responds. That's true, I did, and normally I'd stand fast to that, but this is an exception. Lee looks shocked. Really? Really? Guy nods. He moves his orange leg warmers up to reveal his leg weights. How are those? Ino asks how old-fashioned. Shikamaru says. Leg weights? Basic training equipment. Kakashi thinks, looking at Guy in mild curiosity. This ought to be good. Naruto says. More like totally lame. Kankuro says. Lee takes his weights off. Hey, that is better, now I will be able to move freely. Lee says, then he drops the weights. Come on, do you really think that you'll be able to get around Gaara's sand defenses just by dropping a couple of pounds of weight? Temari thinks smugly. That's when Lee's weights collide with the ground, causing a huge explosion of debris. Oh my god. Sakura thinks with the overly anime reaction shot face. Naruto widens an eye at the display. So he wears weights too, interesting. Naruto thinks, impressed. Guy, you were too much. Kakashi thinks, grabbing his mask. Alright. Guy calls out to his student. Now go. Yes sir. Lee calls out. Just then everyone in the room plus Drago notices Gaara's face is falling off. He encased himself in sand. Things must be bad. I haven't seen that look on his face for a long time. Kankuro thinks, notes the crazed look on Gaara's face. I knew it. I sensed him getting more and more unstable as the Chunin exams progressed. Temari starts panicking. As I thought, his inner demon has been awakened. Baki thinks. Naruto observes the reaction of Gaara and decides to play dumb for a couple minutes. What the? All those hits, did any of them get through? Naruto asks. Nope, it's a rough equivalent of wearing a suit of armor. Kankuro responds. Is it possible to consider Gaara's sand armor to be a rough equivalent of the Susanoo? Naruto asks Madara. That can be the case, but it is safe to assume that it takes a lot of chakra to keep that armor up, so it's an insult to call it that. Now normally the shifting clouds of sand, that is the sand shield, would be enough to protect him, but in the event the shield is penetrated, the sand can be worn like armor. Kankuro continues. Just when things were looking up for Lee. Naruto notes sadly. That's proof that Gaara is feeling the pressure. He would never have resorted to the armor otherwise. Temari thinks, then looks at Lee. This Lee is good, no doubt about it, but that's not the same as winning. It may not be as easy as we thought, but the outcome's a given. Gaara can't lose. Well, is that all? Gaara asks. Not good. Even with my high speed, those sand-themed defenses are nearly impossible to bypass. My best chance now is to get him airborne and away from the sand and pummel him from above with the lotus. Lee thinks and his eye twinkles. Then he glances at Guy, who nods, and Lee undoes his arm bandages to the point they were at his knees. Get ready. Lee employs his high speed and runs around Gaara multiple times in a clockwise circle. That's right, Lee, good work. That flimsy shield of sand won't protect him from your high-speed lotus. Guy thinks. What are you waiting for? Very well, you asked for it. Lee drops and lands a kick to Gaara's chin. He doesn't go high due to the weight of the gourd. He's not floating. Sasuke notes, remembering when he was on the receiving end of that attack. Try this. Lee proceeds to get him higher via more kicks. What an incredible series of kicks. Kakashi thinks. Even an ordinary lotus puts an enormous strain on the body, let alone this. You've got to finish it now, Lee. Guy clamps his hands to pray. Just then Gaara noticed Lee wincing in pain and Gaara's skin cracked a bit more. Kakashi and Naruto's eyes widen slightly. Lee's bandages wrap around Gaara. Now take this. Lee calls out. They spin round and round until they are Blur's primary lotus. Then comes the impact. The ground beneath Gaara is fractured, cracked and destroyed. Lee lands on the ground kneeling and breathing hard. It is over, I got him. Right on, Lee. Guy calls out. Amazing, he won. Kiba says. No, I don't believe it. Kankuro says in horror. You did it. Sakura shouts. Way to go, Lee. Is he? That guy isn't dead, is he? Shikamaru asks. Heiei walks over to Gaara to see if he was still alive. Just then the Gaara's skin starts collapsing into his head and Gaara starts to dissolve into sand. Lee looks in shock as Gaara decomposes. What? Lee asks. What the? Sakura calls out. Then Gaara turns to sand. An empty shell. Sakura calls, but how, when did he do it? Guy asks. It was when you closed your eyes to pray. Kakashi responds. At the moment Lee closed his eyes too, because of the pain. That's when he did it. No, that was too easy. And if Gaara's anything like his old man. Drago shakes his head. Then he notices Gaara's sand substitution. Yep, too easy. Lee notices Gaara collapsing in on himself. Partial bug slide. What? Gaara reforms behind Lee, laughing avidly. With an evil look on his face, Gaara unleashes wave after wave of sand-style attacks, while Lee is barely scraping by with dodging, blocking his attack. Flashback. Guy remembers when he first laid eyes on Lee when he was in the academy. Back to reality. Gaara unleashes an attack which hits him like a punch to an already injured leg. But you didn't quit, you kept practicing. Guy thinks. Flashback. Memory of Guy observing Lee train like the wind. Back to reality. You trained like there was no tomorrow until. Flashback. Memory of Guy when he was getting acquainted with his new G9 team and hearing Lee's goal and Neji's snickering at what he said as he reminds him of Naruto's attitude toward training. Back to reality. Lee, having recovered enough to able to move without the pain from ripping through him, is running around dodging Gaara's sand attacks. As Tamari looks on, why hasn't that not given up yet? She asks in a low volume. It's just rotten luck that Gaara was this guy's matchup. He should quit while he still can breathe. Kankuro says. Lee. Neji thinks, looking at his rival. Neji beating the stuffing out Lee via gentle fist, but partially curious why Lee is so stubborn to keep fighting despite him getting knocked on his butt so many times, ending with the words of the following nature. Try as many times as you like, but you can't beat me, but not because of who you were born as, but because I have trained with Naruto, who is a goddamn stamina freak, and he will pound you into oblivion if you falter in your attacks. Whether what Neji and Tenten had said to you that day was true or not, you refused to listen and you never gave up. Guy thinks. Gaara nails Lee with a sand attack that knocks him on Lee's stomach as he looks as menacing as ever, taking some joy in toying with him. Lee quickly gets up with his hand shaped as bear claws, forearms crossed, blocking his face minus his eyes still partially rolling from the primary lotus after shock still apparent by his life-paced panting. Gaara starts laughing avidly. A lot of good that'll do you. Gaara says. Poor kid, Gaara will just continue to toy with him till he begs for mercy. Kankuro says. Well, my friend from the sand, your buddy is gonna be in for a long match. That's mainly because Lee literally doesn't know how to give up. Guy responds. Gaara launched one attack that knocks him on his stomach, and another attack with an identical effect to a punch to an already injured leg, equaling him screaming in pain. Lee will press on long after a point where someone else would have given up. Guy's memory of Lee making a mistake during his training regimen, and chatting with him telling that it is true about him being different, no talent for ninjutsu or jinjutsu, and his taijutsu needs refinement, mentions to Lee about him having a gift Neji is without one, not flashy like a dojutsu. But more important, and despite his encouraging words, Lee begins to doubt himself because he's 0 for 24 in matches against Neji, and he starts losing heart, and the memory switches to a nighttime scene on the rock after Guy says, "You're right, all the effort is pointless unless you believe in yourself." And after sharing a couple facts about his past with Lee, and gives Lee new resolve towards his goal of becoming a splendid ninja that can only use taijutsu. Lee pants forearms crossed blocking position, notices Guy smiling at him. "Guy-sensei, thank you." Lee thinks and smiles and gets into his signature stance. Gaara in suspicion launches an attack. Lee dodges it at the high speeds he was using before. Naruto smiles. "Looks like Lee got his second wind, wouldn't you agree, fellas?" Naruto says to Hashirama, Madara and Kurama. "Kid's got guts, I'll give him that." Madara says he reflects the true will of fire I preached about. He's gone off the deep end. Shikaku is the weakest of us all, but he is beyond human measurements. Lee stands at his ready position. "I'll make you proud, sensei, by simply doing the following. Follow my path to end, forge ahead and be the ninja I know I can be." Lee thinks in determination. Lee's smiling. He's running for his life, but he is still smiling. Sakura says confused. "Yes, but now it's Gaara's turn to run." Guy responds. "What?" Sakura looks at Guy. "The Leaf Village lotus blooms twice." Guy smiles. "I've heard that somewhere before. Yeah, Lee told me that." "No, Guy, you didn't." Kakashi says in fear. "Yes, Kakashi, I did." Guy responds. "So that G9, that boy, is able to open the 8 inner gates and use the Hidden Lotus?" Hidden Lotus? Neji thinks in horror, as he had read all about that jutsu and knew of the consequences of using it. "That's correct." "Well, if that isn't the most. Alright, so how many gates is he able to open now?" 5 gates. "Okay, what are these 8 inner gates you're talking about in a Hidden Lotus?" "The 8 gates are like valves or chakra limiters that must be opened if one is to release the Hidden Lotus." "I'm still not following." Kakashi lifts his headband, revealing his Sharingan. "There are gates along the chakra network located at those points where the chakra is most heavily concentrated. Starting at the head, they are the gate of opening, the gate of rest, of life, of pain, of closing, of joy, of shock, and the gate of death. These are what are known as the 8 inner gates. Their purpose is to limit the flow of chakra throughout the body, but the lotus puts tremendous strain on these limiters, eventually forcing the gates open. This releases the restraints on the chakra, the result being that a person's strength can be increased tenfold or more." Kakashi explains. "The primary lotus opens only the first gate, the gate of opening, releasing the brain's restraints on the muscles, allowing a person to bring forth its body's strength to its fullest. You've seen the results." "And the Hidden Lotus?" Sakura asks. "At the second gate, the gate of rest, one's strength is increased farther, and at the third gate, the gate of life, one enters the Hidden Lotus." "Wait a minute, just the primary lotus nearly destroyed Lee. He could barely move. What's going to happen to him if he takes it farther?" "Exactly." Kakashi responds. "By opening all 8 gates you could obtain power beyond even the Hokages. The only drawback is..." Kakashi pauses for dramatic effect. "You die." Sakura's eyes widen in fear. "I don't know what this boy means to you, but I shouldn't have to tell you that. We never bring our personal feelings into this. I wouldn't have thought you were capable of this." "You have no right, you know nothing about him. Nothing at all." That boy has something important and he's determined to prove it even at the cost of his life, and I am determined to help him not for his sake but because that is a goal worth reaching. Flashback. Memory of Guy and Lee before Guy teaches him the Hidden Lotus, and the memory ends at, you can only use this technique under one very strict condition, and that condition is... End of flashback. And that condition is... Lee thinks as his fingers curled and arms crossed. Gaara notices a change in Lee. I don't know what you're up to, but this match is over for you. I couldn't agree more, because this match is over one way or another. Lee responds. Neji, Sasuke, and Naruto. Gaara notices the change increasing but is clueless as for how to handle it. I refuse to be the one to lose here. I ask you Guy-sensei, please let this work. It is now or never. He starts radiating chakra and the rushing blood starts turning his visible skin red. Lee with Guy in his thought voice. Both Lee and Guy's are used to protect and maintain one's own ninja way. Then Lee roars out. The third gate, Gate of Life. Open. As the onlookers from above observe the match, look on at the Guy-9, whose chakra is now surging through him, some confused as per what's happening. Gaara look him. The third gate is opened, now begins the Lotus, Kakashi said. Yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you? Guy said, slightly irritated at the cycloptic ninja Kakashi only looking at him in response. The fourth gate, Gate of Pain, open, Lee said. Okay, to open gates through sheer effort is no small feat. It's pretty safe to have him classified as a genius, Kakashi said, partially impressed. After a while of adapting to the new surge of power, Lee nearly crouched before moving. No sooner than when he moved, the ground exploded from the force of Lee's movements, and not 3/4 of a second later Lee's foot meets Gaara's chin, but unlike last time, Lee's kick created an explosion of dust, stone, and partial bits of sand. All the onlookers had to start shielding their eyes. Well, the speed can be on par with Minato-sensei, only difference a lot quieter, Kakashi said as he picked a little speck out of his ear. Lee notices the sand armor cracking. Kiss that sand armor goodbye as I tear it off you, Lee says, all the while moving at high speeds. For the duration of the match, Lee was batting Gaara around like a rag doll, all the while not letting him touch the ground. As tough as my armor is, it can't hold up against this pounding, Gaara said as he watched his armor crumble. One more and we're done here, Lee said, then he calls out. The fifth gate, Gate of Closing, open. He lets gravity bring him down to Gaara. Lee passes a quick 1/16-second glance at Neji, then thinks. Well Neji, count yourself lucky because you have a preview of what I have in store for you. And he proceeds to shoot towards Gaara but surprises Gaara again when he pulls a speed-themed vanishing trick, nailing Gaara in the gut. And just when the surprise is gone, Lee had attached his bandage wrapping to Gaara's belt, and he pulls him as the sand drops to try and surround him. It's the beauty of the Hidden Lotus, since the user is employing taijutsu at speed so blinding any defenses is rendered as useless as a dust bunny that nothing I've seen can block or defend against it, not even Neji or Gaara's sand shield. Guy thinks watching his student attack. Now to end it, Lee said as he pulls Gaara towards him while throwing a punch and kick at Gaara, and then he roars out. Hidden Lotus. Lee grunts in pain as the negative effects of the Hidden Lotus is felt in Lee's right arm and leg. As Drago looked as the medics carted Lee away, then he says. Lee, whether or not you like my words is irrelevant. But if you had continued pounding away at that sand, there was a 3/10 chance of your breaking through to Gaara, but your victory in this match went straight out the window the moment you used the Hidden Lotus. Drago takes a glance at Guy, who isn't taking it well but trying to keep it concealed. He leaps over to him. Guy, Drago says. Guy turns to face him. From what I see, you believe that what you did was wrong, but it's actually quite the opposite. What do you mean? Guy asks, lifting his head up. One might say that life needs Lee to experience a real rough patch to properly test his ninja way, as well as his resolve to keep striving all the way to the end, and Lee will need you because he will lose heart at some point. Drago responds. That is never going to happen because I will do my best to temper my Lee's resolve to the point where it is harder than any steel. Guy said with a small-scale nice guy pose. Very good, now let's clear this field. Turns for the next match. Drago said, turning to leave. Oh, and Drago, thanks. Guy said. Drago decided not to say anything else and decides to just nods to him, and Hiraishi jumps away. Naruto looks over at Neji with concern as he was trembling in rage at the disrespect that Gaara had shown his teammate. Naruto walks over to him and places his hand on Neji's shoulder and looks at him. Who does he think he is, trying to kill a defenseless opponent like that? Neji growls. Neji, I know this won't be easy for you to hear, but these days a shinobi are done. His arm and leg has suffered far too much damage. Unless someone knows the location of Tsunade of the Sannin. Naruto says sadly. No way, isn't there anything anyone can do? Neji asks, looking at Naruto in shock. There is something. Madara says. What do you mean, Madara-sensei? Naruto asks. You could use yin-yang to create a new body for Lee as well as fix the issue with his chakra coils. In short, you could make Lee better than he ever was. Madara says. However, you would need a very skilled medic ninja to ensure it was done correctly, but fortunately you have one in Hashirama. I will get started on it right away. Naruto responds excitedly. Actually, Neji, there is something that I can do for Lee. What, Naruto? Neji looks at Naruto hopefully. I can use as my yin-yang style to create a new body, but I would fix the issue with Lee's chakra coils. I could make him a brand new ninja. I'll go tell him. Neji looks excited and starts to run off, but Naruto grabs his shoulder. You can't leave just yet, we have to stay for the last match. Naruto and Neji leap up to the banners and the cleanup team repairs the floor and cleans it of sand. Then the electronic board starts flashing the last two names, Choji Akimichi and Dosu Kanuta. Final match of the Chunin preliminaries, Choji Akimichi and Dosu Kanuta. Hayate says. After Choji and Dosu leave the arena, Hayate motions to all the finalists and the 8 finalists walk down. And everyone reaches into a small box with numbered cards. Naruto goes first. I got 1, fitting. Naruto says. I got 3. Gaara says, bored. I got 6. Shino says. I got 8. Neji says. This is a drag, but I got 2. Crap. Shikamaru says. I got 4. Sasuke says. I got 5. Kankuro says. Tamari's eyes widen in deep fear as the only number left is 7, which would place her against Neji, who promised that she would learn why the Hyuga were feared above all else. Okay, the matchups will be Naruto Uzumaki vs Shikamaru Nara, Sasuke Uchiha vs Gaara of the Desert, Shinobi Burin vs Kankuro, and Neji Hyuga. Hayate says. Then the Jonin sensei and the Hokage walk down into the arena, and the Hokage steps forward. Congratulations to the winning Genin. Now we will meet in a month's time for the finals. Why a month? Naruto asks. To gain new abilities as well as wait for the daimyo and other important clientele to arrive. Naruto and the others face fault at the Hokage's explanation. Naruto and the others walk out. Naruto and Hinata walk towards the Uzumaki mansion where Haku was staying. On the way there, Naruto thinks of something that he would need to do for his training. Madara-sensei, do you know of an area where I could train in some of my father's jutsu? But I need to learn directly from him and a few others. The fire temple has a deep connection to the land of the afterlife. Kurama responds. How do you know, Kurama? Naruto asks. When Kushina and Minato visited the fire temple on a diplomatic mission, she swore she saw the ghost of her mother, to which I can personally attest to, as I saw her too. How am I going to the Hokage to allow that? Just ask Sarua, I'm sure he will let you. Hashirama responds. Alright, if you're sure, Hashirama-sensei. Naruto walks up to the gate and bites his thumb on the door and wipes blood on the seal, and the door opens. Naruto-kun, does Haku-chan have the ability to open the door? Hinata asks. Yes she does. I was going to add you but then the Chunin exams turned up and everything got fucked up. Alright. Just as Hinata and Naruto walk in front door and suddenly Naruto is glubbed by Haku. Naruto-kun, I was so worried when you didn't come back for 5 days. What happened to you? Haku asks. The Chunin exam. Sorry I didn't tell you but we had to go right away. It's okay Naruto-kun, but I want you to make it up to me. Haku says smiling. How about this, I'll take the two of you out to a nice dinner. Both Hinata and Haku squeal in happiness and run upstairs to get something nice to wear. Now to figure out what restaurant will let you eat there other than Ichiraku's. Madara says. Oh yeah, forgot about that. Naruto responds. I have an idea. Hashirama says. Oh, do tell. If you use Koto Amatsukami you can influence them into letting them let you eat there. Well, that's a good idea. Naruto says smiling. Hey Naruto, did you know you have a shape-shifting ability? Kurama asks. I do? Yeah, if you let me I can show you how to use it. Sure Kurama. Naruto closes his eyes and when he reopens them he is within his mind again. Alright, if you just focus and will your form to change into the shape you desire it will be easy. Kurama shifts into his human form. You make it look so easy. I've been doing it all my life. Oh well, that makes sense. I will transfer my knowledge into you and then you will have to do the rest. Alright Nissan. Kurama's chakra flares and a few seconds later Naruto gains Kurama's limited shape-shifting knowledge. Try and shapeshift. Alright. Pick any shape you want. Naruto gets an evil glare on his face and starts to focus on a memory he had long repressed. Then in a few seconds his form starts to waver and instantly in a similar manner to Kurama's he changes into a naked kami. Instantly Kurama shoots back with a massive nosebleed. Naruto starts laughing like crazy and returns to his normal form. Not funny, kid. Of course it was funny, the look on your face was well worth it. Do anything like that again and I swear to Kami-chan and you will perish. Fine, I promise I won't do that again. Okay, let's try an animal. Alright. Naruto gets a dead set look on his face and closes his eyes and in a few seconds Naruto shifts to a gigantic 7-headed dragon. Die Kurama. Naruto roars, breathing fire at Kurama. Crap. Kurama jumps out of the way and returns to his 9-tailed fox form to battle Naruto. After a few minutes of battling in Titan forms Naruto shape-shifts into Madara. 9 tails. This transient form is nothing more than a nodule. You're only a piece of yourself. Naruto says in Madara's voice. Shut up. You are just an ignorant, unstable power. Shut up. Kurama responds more infuriated. Those who shall guide you are the Uchiha. You tailed beasts are simply servants of those with visual prowess. Shut the hell up. Naruto's visible eye widens. Obey. Okay, enough is enough. Kurama says, glaring, but Naruto shifts into Hashirama. 9 tails. Your power is too great. Regrettably, I cannot let you run loose. Funny. Kurama growls in a stop now and I won't kill you painfully tone of voice. Naruto notices this and returns to his normal form. Sorry Kurama, I was just checking if the voices worked or if it was my own. While I could tell it was you, I doubt even a sensory type could tell the difference between you and the original. But let's test that theory. Hashirama, Madara, get your butts over here. Kurama yells. After a few seconds Madara and Hashirama walk over, supporting each other as they had mutable bruises, cuts and, in Madara's case, a hole in his chest. Told you I'd win. Hashirama says as he smiles. Shut up. Hashirama. Madara glares at Hashirama. After a few seconds their injuries heal. What do you want, Kurama? I want to test Naruto's shape-shifting against a sensory type, and I wanted Hashirama here because he should see this and give his thoughts. That makes sense. Hashirama responds. Then Kurama returns to his human form. Alright kid, shape-shift into me and we will see if Madara can tell the difference between us if we run around and switch places. Then Kurama looks at Madara. No Sharingan, I really want to see if a sensory type can tell the difference. Alright. Madara responds. Alright kid. Kurama nods at Naruto, who shape-shifts into Kurama's human form. Then Naruto and Kurama jump around switching places constantly. For a few minutes later they stop moving. Alright Madara, which one of them is the real one? Hashirama asks as he had lost track of who was who. Madara places his finger on his chin and looks between the two standing before him. Madara thinks for a few seconds. Then he snaps his fingers together, then points to the Kurama on the left. That one is the real Kurama, and the one on the right is Naruto. Sorry Madara, but actually you got that wrong. The Kurama on the right says, then the one on the left waves in a Naruto-like manner at Madara. So it's impossible for a sensory type to see who is who, but now let's see if the Sharingan can. Alright. Madara activates his Sharingan, then looks at the two for a few seconds, then shakes his head. Sorry, nothing, even my Sharingan can't tell the two apart, the replication is flawless. Naruto shape-shifts back into himself, bouncing up and down. I did it. Alright kid, now go get ready for your date. Kurama pushes Naruto's forehead, and he returns to the real world. When he opens his eyes, Hinata and Haku stand before him in very beautiful kimonos. Hinata's consisted of a purple dress with roses on the outer skirt and a purple sash. The outfit augmented her figure nicely. Haku had the pink kimono she had on when she and Naruto met in the forest. You look fantastic, Naruto says to the both of them. Thank you Naruto-kun, Hinata and Haku say simultaneously, blushing at Naruto's praise. What about yours Naruto-kun? Haku asks. Naruto smiles and focuses form into a black kimono and a black vision of the sage's cloak. Well ladies, shall we? Naruto holds out his arms to Haku and Hinata, who grab his arms, and they both walk out of the house and towards the gate. Hinata, just wipe your blood on the inside seal and the mechanism will forever recognize you and will let you in and out. Alright Naruto-kun, Hinata says smiling, and then she bits her thumb, the wipes blood on the seal, and the door opens slowly. Then the three of them walk off toward the Golden Lotus restaurant. On the way there they run into Kiba, who looks in shock at the three of them. Way to go Naruto, Kiba says, cheering on his friend. Then he walks over to Naruto and whispers in his ear. How did you do it? Do what Kiba? Naruto asks. How did you get two very beautiful girls to go out with you at the same time? It's complicated Kiba, but one of the main things I did was treat them both right and make sure they are comfortable with one another. Alright Naruto, you three have fun, and don't do anything too naughty. Kiba laughs at the blushing of the three people in front of him, then he walks off still howling in mirth. 5 minutes later they arrive at the Golden Lotus. Hinata and Haku look at Naruto in shock. How are you getting us into the Golden Lotus? Haku asks. It's the most exclusive restaurant in the Hidden Leaf Village. Yay Naruto-kun, even Toussaint had trouble getting a reservation when he wanted to take Kachen here for their 10th anniversary. Koto Amatsukami. What? Haku asks. It's a genjutsu of unimaginable power that allows the user to influence the mind of anyone they desire into doing whatever they wish. Even things they would never consider doing. Wow, how did you learn it? Hinata asks. It's from a Mangekyo Sharingan that was given to me by a friend. Naruto's left eye morphs to Shizui's Mangekyo Sharingan. Anyway, let's have a decent evening. Naruto smiles and walks into the restaurant, and the man at the counter glares at Naruto. Get out demon brat, we don't serve your kind. The man growls. Naruto raises an eyebrow. I guess we're doing this the hard way. Naruto's left eye glows and the man says. Right this way sir, and we will get someone to take care of you folks. That's what I thought, Naruto says smiling. The waiter sits them down at a table and walks off. After a few minutes another water comes to their table. "Welcome to the Golden Lotus, my name is Genimaru and I will take care of you folks this evening." Genimaru smiles. "So what can I get you three?" "I will get some red bean soup and a side order onigiri please," Hinata says. "I will get some onigiri and a side of kung pao chicken please," Haku says. "I will get some red bean soup and a side order of dumplings," Naruto says to the waiter. "And what would you folks like to drink?" "Just some water," Hinata replies. "Same here," Naruto and Haku say simultaneously. "Alright, from Miss Hinata-sama we have red bean soup and onigiri, for you miss we have the onigiri and kung pao chicken, and for Mr. Uzumaki we have red bean soup and dumplings. By the way, Mr. Uzumaki, you look so much like your mother, but with spiky blonde hair instead of straight red hair." Naruto's eyes open in shock. "How?" Naruto asks. "Your mother was here quite often with the yandere, and who else has the name Uzumaki or such a flavor for pranks? Anyway, I'll get those orders for the three of you right away." Naruto, Hinata and Haku spend the next few minutes laughing and telling jokes, or in Naruto's case retelling his better pranks on the village at large. Then after 10 minutes the orders arrive. Naruto, Hinata and Haku thank Genimaru for the meal, then they start eating, and after a while the bill comes in and Naruto smiles and pulls out his wallet and pays for the meal. Then the three of them walk away back towards the Uzumaki mansion, and Haku and Hinata giggle as Naruto kisses them both on the cheek. "I had a wonderful time, Naruto-kun," Haku smiles. "Same here," Hinata says. "Now let's all go to bed, because I have a lot to do tomorrow." "Alright, Naruto-kun." Haku and Hinata smile as the three of them walk upstairs. Then the three go to their separate rooms and go to sleep. That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.